Welcome to tel'aran'rhiod, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-hosts, Jen Isgro, Tom Kokoza, and special guest co-host, Brendan Johnston. How you doing, Jen?
I'm good now. I got my real ID. I'm all set for flying across the United States of America. And I'm excited about episode 305, which has nothing to do with that. But it'll still be a good show.
Can you now say, Jen, that shit got real?
Shit got so real. It did. Yeah.
You real, Tom?
Yeah,
I don't have my real ID yet, and hopefully that won't cause me any problems when I fly across the country in a month. The short way.
it won't.
No, it's May.
It's still May.
Well, you
But
have a passport. You have a passport.
I also
though.
have
You
a
could always use
passport that I just got. So
Oh, and the lady at the DMV was like, "You didn't even sign your passport yet." I was like, "Okay, sorry." Like,
Well,
why are
give
you
it time.
yelling at me right off the bat?
like I do like. Other than the post office, and the post office doesn't even get people in there anymore. So it's probably the place where the most people are unhappy to have to do their job every
Oh
day.
my God.
Like,
I can't even imagine working there.
for someone who works there is like, hey, everything that you need to do, we post online and we give you specific direct instructions about what to do. And I'm not saying they're clear, but from their point of view, specific direct instructions about what you need to do to fill this out, and what you need to bring to me. And minute after minute, day after day, hundreds and hundreds of people do not follow those directions.
And there are people who have waited 3 hours, and then you tell them you can't do what you came here to do. I feel like there should be a person who checks your stuff first and make sure you have everything in order when you first get there, which would take forever, I guess. But then you wait for 3 hours. Because after you wait all that time, you're like this. And then you get to the window and they're like, you don't have your marriage certificate. And people just like blow a gasket.
How you doing, Brendan?
I'm good, Joe.
You ready to talk?
I'm good. How are you? What gooey candy will you be eating into a microphone for our audience this week?
I don't have any more eggs. I mean, if you want, I could eat some.
Oh, what? It's not even April
What a
yet.
shame.
I told you my kids ate all the goddamn eggs, and I only got like 3 of the dozen.
Send money for Joe's eggs.
I
My
need more.
damn
got
kids
three.
ate all my candy.
He only got 3 of the dozen and ate them in a row
It doesn't.
No, I
during
didn't.
our show last week.
I was going to say, there's 4 people in his house, and the fact that he got an even distribution of the candy is upsetting him.
No.
There's
He
12
should be
eggs
getting-
in a pack?
Listen, there was a 12-pack my wife bought. My older daughter must have ate about 6 of them.
Oh,
My other daughter ate about 3, and I ate 3.
You should really be upset for Sarah, is my point.
She doesn't.
If
want
anyone
them. She
should be
doesn't like them.
if anyone should be getting 6, it's Joe. It's the candy equivalent of the big piece of chicken.
That's right.
He's the
Right.
dad. He gets 6 eggs.
Thank you, Brendan.
she's cobbling together pieces of the eggs for people
And
to
he
eat.
and he records himself eating them and broadcasts them to his friends. And
Now that I'm
fans on the
grown,
internet.
I eat 6 candy eggs.
It's called ASMR, Brendan.
Called something.
All right. We've got a whole episode to talk about. Episode 5, tel'aran'rhiod. So I guess we got to spend a little extra time on this one because it's our namesake. I want to remind everybody the first part of this episode is going to be book spoiler free. And then once we say farewell to Brendan, we will be talking spoilers. So Jen, before we get into it, you want to give us a recap?
I do. I just want to let you guys know that I realized I used the phrase "whoo boy" 2 times in this.
This is why Brendan
You
should have
You should have let
proofread
me.
it.
You should have let me proofread
I'm
it.
pretty sure "whoo boy"
Laughed
is
at me.
spelled correctly,
He
okay?
scoffed at me.
HOOBOY. Okay.
Not
All right.
why.
You're
BOY. BOI, yeah. Episode 305, tel'aran'rhiod, was written by Ajay Ibiranke and directed by Marta Cunningham. We cold open in the waste, where Moraine stands on a rocky outcropping, wielding the Sakarnan. It is immediately too much power for her, but she eventually harnesses it and weeps at the feeling. Before she burns herself out, she collapses into awaiting Lan's arms. Lan asks what she saw in the rings, but she is not yet ready to answer. On the way back from Rhuidean, the Wise Ones let us know that the other clan chiefs have been summoned to Al-Khair Dal, hopefully to accept Rand as the Karakarn. Unlike the Shido, who rejected him because we pronounced their names wrong. Avienda, dressed now as a wise one, has been tasked with teaching Rand about the Aiel, and the puss on her face is a clear indication she hates this. The group arrives at Cold Rock's Hold, the home of the Tardad Aiel, and are greeted warmly, especially by the roof mistress, Leanne, who happens to be Ruark's second wife. Bear and Leanne also kiss hello, so this is one happy family. Rand plays adorably with Ruark's great daughter, and Egwene thinks it's cute, but Bear tells her to let him go for now because it's time to walk the dream. Elida has finally gotten her private audience with Swan, and she spends most of it insulting her, but Swan gives it to her right back. Elida tells her about the vote she is planning to call to cage Rand, but if Swan's concerned, she's hiding it well. Elida brings up Moiraine and their relationship, and then calls Swan river trash, and hoo boy, she is absolutely the worst.
Swan.
Varen is sweetly taking care of Adeleas, who is still struggling after Naomi's attack on her brain. Lyanna and Swan enter, and Varen gives them some info she has worked out on the Black Aja. 3 sisters to a heart. Leandrin connected 4 hearts, so that makes 12 blacks, but they only know of 11 so far. They need to set Elida up to find out if it's her, so they come up with a plan to bait her with knowledge of the captured Joya and D'Amico. In the Two Rivers, Maxim is still trying to get Alana to leave. Fael, Bane, and Shiad arrive back in the town square and tell Perrin the White Cloak reinforcements are almost here, so rescuing the Cothans has to happen now. At a meal in Cold Rock's Hold, Avienda begrudgingly tries to teach Rand about some culture and etiquette. Melindra sits with Lan and gets him to eat a bug or something. I don't know. When Moiraine leaves, she urges Lan to stay.
It's a Cadbury egg.
The Aiel version of a Cadbury.
Gonna bite all the way down.
Elsewhere, Egwene sits with Bear and Melaine. Egwene is only permitted in tel'aran'rhiod when the Wise Ones say so. They tell her dreamwalking has nothing to do with the One Power. Also, it's dangerous. If you die in tel'aran'rhiod, you die for real. In the dream, Egwene can change her clothes and travel somewhere else just by thinking of it. The Wise Ones explain the difference between real dreams and the dream world. The woman who is hunting Egwene can enter her real dreams. Egwene immediately tries this out by traveling to Tarvalon, where a little ghost child is flitting around the marketplace. Hey, also Lanfear, who chokes her out with the power and loves every minute of it. Egwene gets herself back to the Wise Ones, who somehow know that she is being stalked by a Forsaken. They told Egwene what to do, but now are mad that she did it too fast. In the White Tower, Elida is trying to recruit Alviarin to her side and against Swan. When Alviarin walks away, Elida runs into Adeleas, walking in the hall with an Accepted, who Elida rudely dismisses. The Accepted runs right back to the Big Three, who have set this in motion to begin trapping Elida. Varen is sure Adeleas can do what they asked. In the hallway, Adeleas pretends she is not supposed to tell Elida about Black Aja being held in the 13th Depository.
Is she pretending?
Let her finish.
I don't know. Elida is appropriately horrified. On the ocean, in the cabin of a ship, Nynaeve retches into a bucket while Elaine instructs aloud from a book on Tanchico. Matt hates his life and says after 2 weeks below deck, he is done with this. Problem is, they made a promise to the sail mistress that they would stay below, and deals with the sea folk are not to be broken. Elaine notices that they are traveling way faster than possible, so Matt heads onto the deck to find out what's going on, and the girls follow him. Nynaeve immediately pukes off the side of the ship, and the sail mistress can't help but notice. She gives Nynaeve some seasickness tips and allows them to stay on deck, except Min has been hiding up there. She tries to scurry away, but Matt sees her and begs her to let him stay with her. In the White Cloak camp, Valda discusses with Dane the plan to march on the Two Rivers once the reinforcements arrive. He still really wants to do some torturing, but Dane says no. The Cothans are being held in a cage in Dane's tent. He gives them water and tries to kindly get some info about Perrin, but Natty is caught trying to grab keys from his waist, and in an ensuing scuffle, someone channels and blasts Dane across the room. Natty immediately says it was her, and he drags her screaming from her children and drops her at a grinning Valda's feet. What? You're not laughing at me. Okay. Perrin plans to sneak in with Bane and Chiad to get the Cothans, and Fael's knife skills get her invited too. Do I love Fael? Alana says she will create cover against Maxim's wishes that she not channel so close to the White Cloaks. When they leave the others, Alana and Maxim argue about how Maxim isn't enough. Alana needs to get an army ready to fight the last battle, and she thinks the people of Manetherin are a good place to start, considering what powerful people have already come out of the Two Rivers. Maxim isn't planning on standing around to watch Alana throw her life away, so he's going to find Leandrin. Alana stops him just long enough to turn off their bond. Lan and Melindra discuss Malkier, which Lan can't remember much of. She tells him about how wonderful it was and says she misses the laughter. A lot of fun times up in those borderlands. Egwene is packing up her stuff and tells Rand the Wise Ones want her to sleep with them to keep training. They share a kiss before she goes, but Rand looks conflicted. Moiraine is spiraling hard. She's sitting at a fireside with the Sarkhanen in her hands, and when Lan approaches, she's finally able to tell him that she is going to die before the last battle. It's the only way for Rand to live. But she probably won't die tonight, so Lan pulls out a bottle of Aiel Usquai for them to enjoy together, while they laugh and cry. Matt wakes up to Min crumpling a bunch of drawings that are scattered around the room. He grabs one, and it just happens to be of him, hanging. Min says she came after him and made this drawing so she could stop it from happening. Matt doesn't believe her visions come true since he didn't actually kill Rand. Elaine wakes up on the deck and awakens Nynaeve to see a Seafolk Windfinder channeling on the bow of the ship. The sailmistress says this is the reason Aes Sedai are not allowed on deck. The Seafolk have allowed the tower to believe their channelers are weak so they don't have to go there to train. She tells Nynaeve that her block might be happening because she cannot give up control. Elaine and Nynaeve promise not to tell the tower about the Windfinders. Matt introduces Min to the girls. Nynaeve remembers Min from Faldera, and she doesn't want Min to come with them. But Min says she can help them since she has some experience with Leandrin. Matt tells them they can trust her, and away they go. By the way, I guess the sun was not available to shoot for episode 5, because, like the majority of this episode, it is night when they enter Tenchiko. The docks look rough, and Min warns them to keep their voices down and not make eye contact with anyone. They believe her as they pass a bunch of dead bodies hanging from gallows. In the 13th Depository, Elida tries to get Amiko and Joya to tell her the names of the other Black Sisters, and when they won't, or can't, she murders Amiko with the power, and is about to do the same with Joya when a gray man beats her to it, then tackles her and starts stabbing. Swan and Leane come in to save her, and Leane kills the gray man, who the Prime X-ray is telling me is Jakim. Swan heals Elida and finally believes that she is not Black Aja. On the hill overlooking the camp, Alana creates a fog cover that seeps down over the tents while the others sneak in. Perrin immediately notices some wolf heads on stakes. Hoo boy.
There it is.
Elsewhere, Balda has noticed this fog is definitely power-related, and he and another White Cloak, Child Byar, are going to find themselves a real witch. The group finds the Coffin Girls and breaks them out of their cage. Bane and Shiad get them out of the camp while Perrin and Fael look for Natty. There she is, that burned corpse over there. Rest in peace, Natty. You went out like a champ. On the hillside, Alana starts getting obliterated by White Cloak crossbow bolts. Back in the camp, Perrin runs into Dane, who says he was a good man until Perrin Ibarra came along. I mean, fair. He and Perrin grapple while Faile Bashire destroys 2 other White Cloaks and gets Dane in the shoulder for good measure. Perrin sustains a wound getting distracted by this hot girl kicking ass. The White Cloaks move in for the kill on Alana, but her warder's back and he's better than ever. They wreck the rest of the White Cloaks, although I'm pretty sure Valda never gets into a fight with a chance he could lose, so he's probably fine. I count 10 dead White Cloaks as Maxim carries Alana away. Rand is in his dream, sitting on the Two Rivers Makeout Rock, where Lanfear finds him. He tells her that he saw her in Rhuidean, the old her, and believes that she can still be that person. She says she loves him, all of him, the light and the dark. They kiss. Moiraine wants Egwene to take her to meet someone in a dream. She seems desperate to deliver a message, and she's basically begging her. Egwene, of course, takes her to meet Swan in their fishing hut. Moiraine tells Swan that the tower needs to bend the knee to Rand for him to win the last battle. Swan says it should have been Moiraine who stayed in the tower. She wishes they had never even heard the prophecy, and tries to kiss Moiraine, but Moiraine stops her and says their relationship can't be mended in this life. They promise to find each other in their next lives. Egwene takes this opportunity to go creeping around her friend's dreams. Nynaeve is in the Two Rivers with Elnor Jr., teaching her to listen to the wind the way she once taught Egwene. Elaine is dressed as a windfinder on a ship, channeling into the night sky. Avienda comes up behind her and they embrace. Matt is with his mother and sisters in Tar Valon and tells the girls they will never sleep on the floor again. His mother says she's proud of him. kind of Matt not to dream about his father since he wasn't hired for this season. Perrin is back home in the Two Rivers, working at the forge. Hopper is there. And Fail? Wow, Layla who? And can't forget about Rand. Oh my God, guys. He's dreaming about being at the place they used to sit together.
That's the place where they broke up, isn't it?
Well, I feel like they had history there. But anyway, he's making out with Lanfear, who looks Egwene dead in the eyes as she does it. And Egwene realizes Lanfear has been the one torturing her in her dreams. Kissing with your eyes open, Lanfear? You are sick.
Oh, I have so many questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to start at the end there, and that's probably not a good place to start. So let's go back to the beginning.
Let's start at the very beginning.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning.
That's a very
I think.
good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cold
What were you
open.
laughing at in the chat?
Oh, the egg. There's a lot of eggs.
There
around
were
in the chat.
oh my God, there were so many egg gifts flying through that chat.
I can't look at the.
I don't even look at it.
Okay.
I was cracking myself up.
All right. Okay.
Oh God,
All the
Joseph.
eggs.
All right. Oh God, I didn't even get that. Okay.
Yeah, cold open. So Maureen's got this the Sakarnan, which is the most powerful saddest or female saddest. So it looks like that was pretty cool, and Lan was enjoying it too. Did you guys notice that it kind of looked like Maureen's face was starting to do like the burning thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was definitely losing control.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way I read that, like, she's like channeling and she's doing whatever, and then she tries to like turn it off, and then she can't, and that's when it's like bouncing all over the place, and that's when she starts to burn up a little bit.
Maureen can't handle that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Is she supposed to have that?
I mean,
Like, do they know that she took it?
nobody knows. I
Who's
think
they?
she has it. Yeah.
I don't know.
The Aiel? Like, I don't
know.
I feel like that's supposed to stay there, Moraine.
Yeah. I don't think anyone. I don't think she's making it public that she has that.
Well, the tree did open itself up for her.
She channeled into the tree.
I don't know. I feel like
she felt it in there, and she was like, "What's this? Oh, okay, it's
she
mine
peeked
now."
into the tree.
Yeah, I don't know.
She like opened up the tree
It just
curtains.
seems like seems like the kind of thing she's not supposed to have.
Well, nobody knows
That anyone's supposed to have.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think
Especially since Lanfear wants it.
Does she? Yeah. Do you think Lanfear knows where it is, or
I
knew
think-
that it was in the tree?
I don't
I think
think
it's-
so. Well, how would
No,
she know?
actually,
that it
no,
was-
because they were hiding it from her, right?
Yeah. I think if Lanfear knew where it was right now, then she would take it.
She'd have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, so I was watching an interview with Rosamund, and I've seen a few of them over the last couple of days, so I'm not sure which one it is. She did a local interview on Channel 11. She did CBS this morning.
Oh
It might
yeah.
have been one of those.
I saw
right?
the CBS one. Yeah.
So it might have been one of those where because they showed on both of those like this.
She was on.
This
She was on Channel 11.
Yeah.
God damn it! We should have went
Channel
over to-
11.
That's where our old office was in the same
building.
Yeah. So anyway, she said like this is her this is like her like raging against the dying of the light. That's what she's doing here. She's just kind of like, I still exist. And
Well, I
that's what
thought she
she's
was
like-
just testing it out to see like how it works and how much she can channel with it. It was a curiosity. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So like because I didn't get that from necessarily from watching it. I think I thought something closer to what you thought, Joe. And apparently there is a little bit of like she's the whole episode she's trying to reckon with this knowledge that like her whole life's work she won't be able to see to its resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little bit of like let me do whatever I can to touch the world since it's going to be taken away from me before I'm done with my work.
Sorry.
Yeah. So no, I thought that was an interesting insight. It wasn't one that I necessarily got from watching the episode.
This is later, but it kind of annoyed me when she was just like, everything we did was for nothing because I won't be there. I'm like, I don't know. Like you got Rand and he's like here and doing all this. Like, I wouldn't say everything you did was for nothing.
That's supposed to annoy you.
Yeah, I guess.
That's like
She's
that's
just like being like pouty about it. I guess. That's okay.
I wanted
Maureen
to
kind of sucks sometimes. It's just
Hmm?
I wanted to rewrite that line. That's when she asked Lan, to, was it as good for you as it was for me? Because that's basically what she asked.
That's basically what she said. Yeah,
I know.
you wouldn't have to rewrite it that much.
And even like, if you put that line in there and then kind of took away all the context, it looks like they could have potentially just had sex the way they were holding. He was holding her and she was like lovingly looking up at his face.
I guess.
So I just thought that was funny. Yeah, and Lan wants to know what she saw in the rings, which there's a whole scene about that later. Any other thoughts before we get into the episode proper?
No, there's a very big footprint.
Yeah.
Let's start in the White Tower.
Sure.
All right. Brendan, I wanted to ask, after this episode, right? Elaida, after the third episode, you were saying how Elaida is like one of your favorite characters or new favorite characters now. What do you think about her? Well, what did you think about her after this first scene with her and Swan?
Still one of my new favorite characters.
Okay.
Once again, a character type I don't think I've ever seen before. An evil hero. Not an anti-hero. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
She's at least appears so far to be firmly on the side of conventional good in this setting. But she's horrible.
Yes.
And it's amazing to watch. It's fantastic. I love it.
Shura does a really good job too playing this.
Yeah, she does.
Role.
She's terrific.
Yeah, like she would like in the beginning, right? They're just kind of like dancing around insults, and then she just calls her river trash. I was like, whoa.
Right.
That was a little, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. That definitely threw me off. I was like, ooh. And Swan just kind of took it.
Yeah.
But I guess, so now here's the question too. Like, right, Swan thinks that she's Black Aja. I think Swan's hoping she's Black Aja.
Yeah, so I know. Like, please let me be able to kill this woman.
Yeah.
Yes. Can I cut a bitch? That's what Swan's thinking right now.
I was just wondering, do you think she holds back because she thinks Elaida's black and wants to kind of lull her into a sense of superiority or whatever?
I don't think anyone needs to get Elaida into a sense of superiority. I think she's got that shit locked down.
No, you're right. But I mean, do you think like Swan, because Swan didn't really retort after that. She was just like, I'm busy or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you think she purposely held back because she thought she was black and she wanted to, make her feel like a false sense of security, not superiority?
Well, I mean, basically everything that Swan and Liana and Baron do in the course of their appearance in this episode is try and set Elaida up. So yeah, I think probably she was trying at least a little bit to do that.
Yeah.
Not set her up. That's the wrong word, but like catch her.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's entrapment, not like planting evidence, but
right.
it's
they're not framing her.
Right.
Yeah. They want to know if she's really a black Aja, and they hatch this plan to try to figure it out. And I'd love to talk just like I want to say one other thing too about the scene, right? So there's a little piece of information I think it's when Swan insults her, she immediately changes the subject to Moraine. She doesn't answer her. She's like, where's Moraine? Just like that's her retort almost. So Elaida remembers, she's the only one so far that we know of or have seen that remembers the relationship between Moraine and Swan, which is a nice little piece they put in there, I think.
Well, because she was like their teacher.
Yeah. And I get the sense that Elaida's been thinking about Swan with like a Cupid doll with pins in it over the last like 15 years or so. Just like this, I'm going to get her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I did like that they threw that in there too. because it shows you like Elida knows things.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a conversation in episode 8 of season 1 where Moraine talks about how she had a teacher who like, basically like beat her till she could channel well, back at the tower.
mhm.
And I think that we know who that is now.
Oh, I didn't know how to make that connection.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know that to be certain. I believe that is the case now.
Yeah, I like that. I choose for it to be true. So there you go. It's true. I do want to talk about this plan, specifically Adeleus, right? So I had a lot of thoughts about this and was wondering what people thought because well, first off, they reveal about the hearts and the 3 hearts. So should be 12 Black Aja, 11 left. So who's the 12th one that's there? So I mean, I'd love to get Brendan your thoughts on that part if you have any guesses as to who the other Black Aja is in the tower, if there is one.
If there is one. I hope it's not Elida. Because if it's Elida, then it's just Leandrin again.
Okay.
I mean, and I don't want to trigger Joe here, but there's really only like 3 other actualized characters in the tower.
Well, no, we met a bunch of them in episodes 2 and 3, right? We went to the Red Aja quarters.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Well, they're not in the tower anymore. They went after
that's true.
False dragon.
Well, they could. Oh, yeah, that's true. They could be black though. Some of those people.
There's a couple. Yeah. Yes.
I think. I don't necessarily know that I think it's her, and I kind of don't want it to be her. But I think maybe the most interesting one would be Varen.
Okay.
Who just unretired without any discussion.
That's true.
Like she's nominally retired in the last season, and now she's just back. And I understand that, on the one hand, it looks like, well, circumstances have heightened, but maybe she's back because this was part of the scheme the whole time. But she wasn't in the tower, so it's probably not her.
That's true. She wasn't in the tower for. That's her first time back to the tower, and I don't know. I don't remember if they mentioned how many years it was.
So I'm going to say this because this thought popped into my head while I was watching it. I thought I was like, wow, Adeleus is doing a really good job in here. And I'm like, what if she's faking?
Yeah, that was my next question, Tom.
What if that was my thought that she's the plan,
So, okay. So I was thinking, do you think her and Varen are working something together? But you're saying, no, maybe just Adeleus is working something on her own. Maybe she's the other Black Aja and she's pretending to be,
like she's almost like she's using it as like an opportunity. My first thought was that yes, they were like maybe her and Varen are working together to kind of flush out the rat,
Yeah.
But then I was like, it would be better if she was like conning to like get the inside loop, like similar to what Brendan said about Naomi in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just gonna sit here and wait so that when people say stuff, they're just gonna talk around me because they think that I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Because like my initial thought was how did they really get, like, she's clearly got, right? Her mind is kind of messed up, but they used her convincingly to set a trap, not a trap, but right, to lead Elida down to the 13th depository. Like, how confident in her?
It's a trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
it's a trap.
Oh, okay. But like to use her and get her to do what they needed her to do in her condition, I thought was a little hard to believe. But then go ahead.
I almost hope that it turns out that she's the 12th Black Aja, because otherwise, if like her condition is real, using her as bait, that's fucked up.
That's your sister's bait. So I thought about like how do they get her to do that like convincingly, you know, in her condition. But on my first rewatch today, if you notice when Adelaus and the novice first encounter Elida, Adelaus starts sniffing. And I remembered the roses thing that Swan was commenting about. So I think that's how they like kind of said, if you smell roses, I need you to say this thing or whatever. Like that's how they got her.
Could be, yeah.
Because she sniffed like noticeably.
Yeah. Right. No, she mentioned it too. She said something about the roses.
Did Adelaus say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, that girl's an accepted, Joe. Come on.
Sorry, the accepted. I apologize. I demoted her. So that's my theory.
Aside from the
okay. I feel like the roses. have to be
Hey, he's back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We lost you.
You had a great pose too, Tom. You were like
it
this.
was amazing.
Oh,
it's very like a presidential portrait or something.
So, what I was saying is like, outside from the paranoia conspiracy part of the scene and like what you know who's the missing 12th member, like I loved Elida's reaction to her saying Black Aja, which is shut your mouth. I don't want to hear it.
And I like how she responded like, you know.
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, okay. But like I just Elida's physicality is something I really enjoy. Like she dismisses the accepted verbally in a very demeaning way, and then when she doesn't look enough, she like physically like just like get out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's great at being awful.
Yeah, very good. So we learn Elida's, you know, trying to work the tower. I guess the sitters. She talks with Alviarin and is kind of trying to drum up some support for her motion that she's going to put on the table when they go into the next hall, right? About caging Rand. Mm-hmm. So it looks like she's politicking. And then Elida goes and visits the 13th depository, where she cold-bloodedly kills Amiko. Tortures Joya. But then I'm sorry, Jai Chim shows up.
Why?
Not Jai Chim, though, is it?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. No, okay. Yeah, all right.
The other guy wasn't.
Right.
This one is Jai Chim. Jai Chim, the gray man, shows up and kills Joya before she can reveal who the 12th Black Aja is, and then proceeds to stab Elida. So this is like their MO, right? They just stab people over and over and over again. They're like robots that just are programmed to stab.
It's funny because like they were trying to like figure out if it was Elida or not, but then Elida actually almost got the information that they needed by torturing them.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, so it would have been great if the gray man didn't show up.
Yeah. So
I mean, more ways than one,
famous last words.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Swan and Leane, and is Varen there too? I can't remember now if Varen was there. Or was it just Swan and Leane? Swan and Leane show up. Leane kills the gray man. Swan heals Elida.
Perhaps a little begrudgingly.
Yeah, and I apologizes to her too. It's pretty big of Swan. But yeah, so this is where Moghedien sent the gray man
to find them, I guess. Yeah.
So that means Moghedien is Moghedien working with the Black Aja then? Because why would she send someone to kill?
Or is Moghedien like?
But it doesn't appear. But because it's weird, because at the end of the third episode, right, she's in the house with Leandrin and the others, dressed up as a servant, and they have no idea who she is.
Right.
So
she could not be working with Leandrin, but still be working with like
the 12th Black Aja.
I guess.
The 12th Black Sister.
There's there's no limit. There's not like, it doesn't say like there's only
she says,
4 hearts.
Swan does say at least one. She says
more.
at least one more. Yeah.
At least one more. Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to. Brendan, if I told you there's like another 5 or 6, what would you say?
I mean, well, like last season, as soon as they introduced the concept of the Black Aja, my theory was that literally all of them
That's true.
we've
That's right.
seen so far.
It's a large
So-
percentage of the books.
You had said there was like the scene where when Sheriam and Alana are talking and it's Leandrin and like you're like everybody there and literally almost every single person there.
2 of them were
is-
definitely right because
I think
it was
the only person-
Leandrin and Joya were there. I don't
Yeah.
remember who else
Yeah.
was there except Alana, obviously, and Shiriam.
Sure. I thought one of the other ones
hasn't been mentioned or spoken about this entire
Shiriam's just
season.
gone. Yeah, they just wrote her out of
There's
the
no
season.
novices. There's no novices that are main characters on the show anymore. I guess
know,
they don't.
But
they
like,
don't
she was like a top dog last season. And
Which
Yeah.
one was Shiriam? Oh, I
That's
remember.
the
Okay.
novices,
Yeah, I
the one who
remember.
got
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pulse.
Handwriting
Yep.
conspiracy.
It hurts more from you.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm just saying.
That was mean. It was low.
That was mean. That was because I know you know better.
Yeah. And thus ends the White Tower section of the episode. Should we go on to?
There was
Go
actually
ahead.
before we move on. There was one there right before the Gray Man shows up,
Mhm.
like 10, maybe 15 seconds before he jumps out and kills the one who Elida is being tortured. He walks in front of the camera,
Yeah, you see him.
and it was a minor but legitimate jump scare for me.
Oh
I
wow,
definitely didn't notice
Is it-
that.
you didn't see? Oh yeah, when the
There's like
camera
a
pans.
brief shadow in front of the camera,
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the fuck? And then
Well, that's
10 seconds later,
yeah.
supposed to happen, right?
The Gray
Well,
Man.
yeah.
See him.
You just
No,
don't
like-
notice him. That his magical powers is that he's so unremarkable. People just don't notice him.
Yeah.
Let's move.
oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I do have one thing. When Swan and Elida are talking, Swan talks about how she's asking where Elaine is,
Oh yeah,
and Swan talks about how she let Morghese know, and Elaine's well protected,
Mhm.
which is
Bye.
yeah, exactly. That's like another like, oh, we Aes Sedai can't lie except when we can and do. Like she's with a channeler who can't channel, and Matt.
well,
Right.
Min's there too. Don't forget, and maybe
I
she
don't know
said-
if
she might
She
have
doesn't
said
know
Min.
Min's there.
She might have said
Who
Min.
cares?
there. She
Not
goes,
Min.
we thought that Swan didn't even know that they were going. So I'm trying to figure out, is there anything in there that like could be
Well, yeah, you don't know,
like
right?
a half truth? Did she say I sent Elaine away?
Oh, now I don't
Or
remember.
did she say Elaine went? No, she said
I
something
don't-
like
I
on
don't
my
remember.
orders.
She said
or
she
something.
she sent them on a mission or something like that, an assignment on her order, or I don't remember if she said that. You're right. That's a good thing to pull apart. We should get that line and try to talk about that because you're right.
I'm
How does
just
she
saying.
know? How does she know where Elaine is at this point? Like, did she figure out that they went to Tanchico? Did they tell Swan that they were going to Tanchico and we just didn't see it?
They said they weren't going to tell anybody except for the people that Nynaeve told. But like,
Yeah.
Just Matt.
right.
And Galad and
Um,
Gowan could have overheard that conversation. They were right there.
Right.
They were stage whispering. It's fine.
Yeah. That's true.
It didn't so much bother me that she knew she was gone because she gave her an assignment to do the investigation and then they were gone. So whatever.
Yeah.
But just the idea, like Elaine's well protected, like who by herself?
Yeah.
She's
By her
protecting the
own
other two.
channeling?
Right.
I
Right.
wonder if
Yeah,
what
that's
she
true.
means.
That's good. Good point there. Maybe she doesn't know Elaine's gone, and that's why she said that because she thinks she's still in the tower. I don't know.
But she said she told Morghese.
She did. She did say she
Yeah.
told Morghese.
So can you imagine, like, hey, not that this,
Matt is the hero of the
Be on the
horn. Though,
phone,
don't
but-
forget.
like
And he-
telling Morghese.
He did whoop the two boys' asses.
That's true. That's
So-
true because he said Shazam
He said his magical
or whatever.
his magic phrase. On to Tanchico.
Well, the boat first,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, the
There's
boat.
there's
Well, on to
Tanchico.
Tanchico. No, I mean they're on
On
their
the
way to
way.
Tanchico. On to
On the way to
Tanchico.
Tanchico.
Yeah.
Elaine literally reads from the handbook.
The
She
Jujutsu
does.
handbook.
That's the exposition. Let's have her read from a book.
Right. At least Matt's like, please stop. Please stop.
Yeah.
I was so happy when Nynaeve was throwing up.
Yes.
That was very fun.
Yes. She made the comment at the end of the episode, right? Like she didn't want to go on the boat. Like, is there another way we can get there? And yeah, they kept it. That's a book thing too, Brendan. That Nynaeve gets seasick, so it's kind of funny.
Oh, okay.
That's why it was funny that they kept it. But they're on the ship with the sea folk ship, right? Elaine's like, there's no way we could be this far, this fast. And, she's like, I know the sea folk ships are fast, but then she learns out why, because apparently some sea folk can channel and they channel the boat faster, I guess, using winds and waves and whatnot.
Yeah, that channeling is ridiculous. It's like
I loved her motion. Like it was like just like a dance she was doing, right? That was really good.
Yeah.
I like the way they did that.
I mentioned this on I was on the Dusty Wheel last night, and like this is not a spoiler for anything, but the name of the boat that they're on in the books is called the Wave Dancer, and I felt like that was very like that's what she was doing. Like it was very like yeah, I think it was very cool. Brendan, you had made mention, I think, in the last episode. It might have been an episode when we did episode 3, but I think it was in the last episode about how you thought, just everyone's gonna have their own like culture of women channelers, and I feel like, well, there you go. I think that you're probably right.
Yeah, and we also learn like why the White Tower, the Aes Sedai, don't know that, or they think that the Sea Folk are too weak to channel, or like, and they just take that at face value. But they basically say, why don't you tell the Aes Sedai or the people? They're like, basically, like, we don't want them fucking coming here and bothering us. Like, that's, right. So yeah, it's interesting. We're starting to learn the other cultures can channel, and what that one specifically why it was kept secret. But I like how the woman basically cures Nynaeve's motion sickness just by saying, don't be so rigid. Yeah, it works because I don't see her throw up again, I think.
We also get in this sequence a wily and elusive time check when Matt says they've been on the boat for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Elaine says it too when she's like, there's no way we could be this far in 14 days, I think, right? Yeah.
Just 14 days?
I think she says 14 days because I was about to say 2 weeks in Wheel of Time is 10 days, right?
I know.
Oh, for
Or
God's
1 week
sake.
is 10 days, right?
Brendan would love our weights and measures.
I can't believe I brought it up. I brought this on myself.
We did a whole episode.
To be fair, I don't want to get like too much of the weeds, but like that's something that like Jordan really figured out and like not right away. So in the first couple of books, like
not
clear how long a week is, and then as he like develops more of like the history and the calendars and whatnot, he fills that in. But like the week is a week. They're not gonna like that's stuff that's great when you're reading a huge series of books, but for a TV show, please come on. A week is a week is a month. A month is a month.
Yeah.
Of course,
that's fine.
Of course.
I'll let this one slide. I might take a half a point off for that though.
In the books,
half a star.
Hours are 58 minutes,
no.
but there's 61 seconds.
That's the only difference between that and the real world.
That's the only difference.
That's why it's called the Wheel of Time. Everything's just,
there's just like a ripple effect because of that. So Matt sees Min's drawing of her vision of him that we saw in episode 3 of him hanging.
Matt sees that drawing right after Min says, "No one's obsessed with you." It's like, no one's obsessed with you. I was gonna stay there while I throw away all my drawings of you dying.
Was every picture him dying?
No, it's probably all different visions.
Why did she crumple up that one first? So
I do think a lot of them are.
I'm gonna have to disagree with Joe there. I think every picture was of him dying.
Oh wow!
We only see one.
Would have started
but you're
with
right,
the one that's
Jen.
right near him.
Well, I think she's desperately trying to get everything as much as she can. Yeah, I think and she says it like she's trying to remember the vision as clearly as she can. So I would imagine like each thing is like a different like because that's like a portion of the whole big scene.
Oh, you think it's like a puzzle type thing where you put all the pieces together and you get one big
or just
picture.
like, hey, okay, what was happening here? What did I see here? What did I see like around the whole thing? And he's like, I'm not gonna hang myself. Your visions are wrong. And then he turns over and cries to himself a little bit.
Yeah, well, he's deluding himself by like the one about me killing Rand was wrong. So why is it this one wrong? And it made me think of the tea, right? His tea trip where he hung. That's probably what he's thinking, right? Like, oh, wait a second. This is the second time I've seen myself being hung.
Yeah, but then like he's like, I won't kill myself. But then as soon as they get to Tanchico, they see a bunch of people hanging. So it might not be you killing yourself. It might be somebody else killing you.
That's true, but I feel like what was I gonna say? Like putting it in the context of like he's going through a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he's very uncertain right now about like about what that vision is showing.
Mm-hmm. But I think he's hanging on to like the vision of Rand. Him killing Rand was wrong. He's just gonna hang on to that thread.
It's hanging.
Just gonna.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But then like even what Nynaeve's like, you said that
he's
Rand was
choking
the
on his words.
So like you said Rand was the dragon reborn. Or he told Rand he was the dragon reborn.
Yeah, that was Nynaeve.
She also, I don't know how she knows that, but because he didn't talk to anyone after that and pretend that he was dead for a year. But,
well, they were on a boat together for a month.
All right, fine. Come and let me tell you everything.
No, they didn't know she was on there.
What happened?
No, but they didn't.
No, he's talking about the boat that they were on coming to Tarvalon. Farm to Tarvalon.
Gotcha.
You think Nynaeve didn't ask him a billion questions on that boat?
I guess.
Most of which probably started with the phrase, "What the fuck?"
Right. First, how dare you? Right. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, you lost me. Sorry. I'm here. You didn't really lose me, did you?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. You got lost in like where you wanted to go next.
Yeah, I was typing in the chat. Chat people distract me. They get to Tanchico. Well, Nynaeve kind of gets a lesson about channeling. An interesting lesson, kind of, and I love how it's like a sea metaphor type thing, just like seasickness, being seasick.
Yeah, it's the same advice.
Basically the same advice. So if you're seasick or you need to learn how to channel, you can use that applies to both.
Yes.
But here's the interesting thing. I want to ask a question, right? Because there was the one woman who was doing all the channeling, and then there was the one woman having the conversation, and she was giving Nynaeve channeling tips. Can she channel too, this woman, the captain, I'm assuming she is? I don't know if they give her a title, but...
Well, she's the sail mistress.
Yeah.
The sail mistress. Oh, they did say that.
The mistress and the wind finder was the other one.
Okay. I know that. I just didn't know if they shared it in the...
I know that.
What do you think? I'm some sort of idiot?
Seafocator?
I would presume so. I would presume so. She seemed to have too much knowledge about how channeling works to just be like, yeah, I work with channelers. Trust me. I mean, whatever. She could just be that kind of a person, I guess.
Yeah.
An expert about stuff she doesn't know about. But
I mean, it's also just like kind of good life advice. So just relax a little and don't be so rigid. And don't worry so much about, Right. I've given that advice to people and I can't channel. So
yeah,
I don't think I can.
Have you tried?
Try. Don't try. Don't try. It's tainted.
Well,
yeah.
It's too late.
That's really it. They arrive at Tanchico, and that's basically it.
This is admittedly irrational.
Okay.
But ever since I heard that there was a city called Tanchico, I have joked that it sounds like an off-brand corn chip.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, I found myself a little disappointed. And again, I could see in advance that this is irrational. A little disappointed that it was not a Southwestern themed town.
Sorry.
No, it's not a.
That's 100% on me. Like I built it up as something it's not. And
Man,
It's just your standard wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, it's kind of like what's the place in Pirates of the Caribbean that they go to? Tortuga.
Tortuga.
Oh, Tortuga. Okay.
That's that's what I'm saying. That's the vibe I'm getting from the show. That it's kind of like a Tortuga. Maybe they're pirates and
first cool it, now this.
Yeah. Sorry, Brendan.
She was betraying my inner thoughts.
Their entire journey there was in the dark too.
The whole show was in the dark.
The whole episode's in the dark.
Well, it's about the world of dreams. There's scenes in the waste that are
the waste ones. There's most of them.
Fine.
About half of them. Yes, this was very dark on my TV. I was having a lot of trouble seeing things. I watched it today on the computer. It was much better. I was like, I have to go fix my TV settings or something. Very dark episode. I don't know why every scene on the boat had to be in the dark.
Well, the scene with the channeling, I guess, looked better.
That one's fine, but they were like when they were in underneath, it was nighttime every time. So I guess they slept during the day maybe and were up all night. Who the hell knows? But yeah, a lot of nighttime scenes, a lot of dark scenes in this episode. Anyway, shall we move on to the Two Rivers? Or any more Tanchico traveling?
I'm good.
We have to wait until Tom gets back to talk about how Dane Bornhold outright says he's bad now.
Yes. Let's start though. We got a minute or so. Well, actually, no, that's towards the end of this part though. So
I know. I'm just saying.
We got some time. So Fail shows up and says that their white cloak reinforcements coming, and that if they want to go get the coffins, they should go now. Now, when we first cut to the white cloaks, right, Dane is still holding strong to his, I'm not going to let Valda at these people yet, because I'm a pretty decent guy still. Yeah. But then he goes to talk to them, the coffins, and Natty tries to steal the key from him, and somebody channels at him, and he's all of a sudden gone into, she's a witch mode. Natty says it was her. Brendan, was it Natty channeling?
No, it wasn't. Of course it wasn't. No.
Which one of them was it? I don't know which one it was.
It was one of the guys. It was one of the girls.
Which one is which?
The one on the left or the one on the right?
Yeah. Bodwin and Eldrin.
The older one.
Is that the one? Eldrin?
Which one's older?
Natty Jr. Natty
they were
the
twins.
third.
Are they not
They're
twins?
twins. They're actually
they're twins in real life. Yeah, I don't know. I just assumed that they're twins.
They are twins. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah, he freaks out about the channeling, which I get. He's a white cloak, but I'm trying to think of why that triggered him so bad.
Because here he is. Well, yeah, here he is.
He's
desperately trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right.
While his moral center is completely off kilter. Right. And he's also in the bag, just completely tanked day and night. And again, he's got them locked in a cage that they can't even set up. But he's like, I'm trying to be so nice to you. Why do you understand? Why would you try and escape? Look at all the kindness I've given you. And that's it. I think that's the kind of thing. And look, I think I'm going to be a Dane apologist on this show as long as this show goes on. This is the culture he was raised into, and this is what it is. That is evil to him. And he's like, I thought that you were good. I thought that it was just this one guy. But if you're going to be channeling at me, you know what? A lot of this stuff this Valda guy is saying makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I don't know about that part, but yes, they channeled at me. Channeling's bad. You're witches.
I mean, and that's got to be if there's a list of shit you don't do to a white cloak, that's got to be at or near or at the top of it.
I don't think.
I can't imagine what else would be worse. I don't know. Maybe I guess. Yeah. Putting a red sock in with the laundry, but other than that,
heyo,
probably should have killed him.
Well,
but I don't think it was done on purpose. So
yeah, they look to be about the age that it's the show's addressed this. Normally people start channeling around when they hit puberty. that looks to be around the age those girls are at.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if this was the first time that that's happened.
Yeah. I don't know, but like we get more of like, so I want to talk a little bit about Alana, right? And because we find it's a little bit connected to this, right? So we find out why Alana went to the Two Rivers, right? She says basically like the Dragon Reborn lived here, the two strongest channelers, and one of them in 1,000 years. She doesn't say that, but the horn sounder. She goes on to talks about the blood of Manetheren, and she wants to build an army for the last battle. So, that's cool. I guess that's the reason why she came. Maxim's kind of being a bitch. I'm going to say it outright. This goes back to, what was it, the first season when he has that conversation where he's like, I never thought like I'd actually...
Second
season where I'd actually have to like fight the last battle or be part of it. So I'm going to call him a little bitch, a little bit. Just because
he's going through some stuff.
But he started talking about that in the second season before he was going through the stuff about, being a little bit scared of the last battle. It's okay to be scared of the last battle, but this is what you signed up for, buddy.
Joe, are you raising your hand?
Not
you
now.
just messed up the whole thing.
What?
What are you talking about?
What?
Your hand
in Zoom is
Oh, because I raised
Zoom thing.
Oh, it's the stupid Zoom thing where it because I made the raise hand motion and the stupid thing put my hand up.
Leave it. I like it.
God. I gotta turn that. You gotta like turn that off, right? It recognizes your hand motion. Anyway, I fucking lost my track.
I'm sorry. It was so distracting.
No, that's okay. I don't blame you. I blame Zoom. Oh yeah, I was calling Maxim a bitch. I'm sorry.
Don't forget.
Where was I? Oh,
that's right. No, which this connects because right now we find out that there's another channeler in the village. Yeah. So Alana's kind of on the right track here. I like this. I like that this is the reason why she's going back.
I like it too. In episode 2, you asked me specifically why, what I thought of why Alana and Maxim were there, and I said I didn't really have any theories or any thoughts as to why, and that was my second answer. And my first answer was going to be a smart ass comment about how, well, they probably came to the town where all the heroes are from so they could get more heroes.
Yes.
And I decided to not be a smart ass. And then that turned out to really be their plan.
I will say this. I will confirm that this is also
a great plan.
It's a great plan.
I don't know why everyone doesn't do it.
Yeah. And remember, they're
just go get 4 more guys from the Shire. Like, why not?
Yeah. Right. There's a lot of untapped potential here.
I will confirm this is the reason in the books why she's there as well. So I thought they were going to change it.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah.
It is a little different in the books, but
yeah, it's a little different, but this is generally the reason why she's there. But I was very surprised. I thought they were totally heading in a different direction. What did you all think about like the Alana Maxim stuff in this episode? Like they're struggling in their relationship.
I think it must be, it's in the second season when I don't remember which one is talking about. It must have been Maxim is talking about how, or Yvonne is talking about how he became a warder because he fell in love with an Aes Sedai, and Maxim became a warder because he fell in love with a warder.
Yeah.
And it, like, from that moment on, it was very clear that like Yvonne was even though Alana is obviously the leader, Yvonne was sort of the centerpiece of that little throuple.
Yeah, she talks about it in the third episode about like how, was it her or him, about the two, like her and Yvonne with a fire. Her and Maxim with a fire, and Yvonne was like kept them
tempering.
Yeah.
So
that's thrown their dynamic all out of whack.
So I think that Alana is like, I think the show is trying to make sure that we understand that Alana is an important character, even though she wasn't part of like the main crew from the get-go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? And so like they're giving her a little meat, and I think
I would have preferred more Perrin time, to be honest.
that's true, but I like the fact that like Perrin's not like, okay, I'm the leader now. Like he's like, okay, he has ideas and people are kind of like following his direction, but he still doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he doesn't know how to do any of this stuff.
No, it's not. I'm just saying I'm not saying Perrin should have been cooler or done more cooler things. He could have just gotten some more time. I feel like his part in this episode, like there was no real character stuff. It was just like do this, do that type of stuff.
I do think that he's gonna get a lot more in the next 2 episodes, and I wonder how that's gonna balance out.
Yeah, I agree. He is gonna get a lot more, I think. Right, they go to free the Cawthons and they get the girls out pretty quickly, and they ask where Natty is, and we learn that she's been burned alive. And I want to read you my actual note here. Hold on if I could find it. I said, poor Natty, and then I was criticizing Perrin, saying, at least bring her body back. And then I realized, oh, she's melting. That's my note, because I didn't notice it on the TV last night because it was so fucking dark.
Dan thought she got flayed when we first saw it, but then the second time I watched it, I was like, no, she's like, it's still like crinkling. And
she's melting. She was like, there was like skin like sloughing off of her face.
Now give her the thumbs up.
Is it giving the thumbs up now?
What is happening?
He went like this.
He never happened
she's
before.
Melting, and like it saw her.
God
it's
damn
fun.
it,
I
Zoom.
like it. Leave it alone.
You gotta take that feature off. So
right when I'm getting a good point in every time.
Of all the moments in the episode,
give a thumbs up.
Give a thumbs up. I wasn't giving a thumbs up. Yeah, this was disappointing and sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. I didn't think I just didn't think that was going to happen.
No,
I thought they'd rescue her at the last minute, but
yeah, I thought
not
so
that
too.
Not that kind of show at this point, I guess.
No,
I did think it was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope.
No, I was just. I thought it was a very nice touch that Matt's 2 sisters. One of them, when Dane is interrogating them and asking about Perrin, one of them was like, "I barely even remember Perrin."
Yeah.
And then he comes in and she's like, "Your eyes are different."
Yeah.
Right.
Like she's like just bald face lying to Dane.
Wow.
she comes from a family of liars.
Oh no, I know. It was great. It was,
Right,
it was a great little character bit.
Yeah, and like I think at first you think that the other sister is like, wait, I'm like she breaks, but then you realize like no, she's just trying to sucker him in so the mom can get the keys, and you're like, oh, this whole family is awesome.
Yeah. You feel like they've gone out and like shoplifted together, like they all know their parts.
But at least they're shoplifting together now.
Yes.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. They were doing it together. It's
as
like
a family.
Yeah, it's like their little bits that they do and scams. So we get an encounter. Perrin and Dane and Perrin meet again.
And
go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to read verbatim one of my notes.
Go ahead.
Dane Bornhold himself acknowledges that he's bad now, Tom, underlined 3 times.
He basically says I was good, but then you happened. That's basically what he says, right?
Yeah. I feel like if a psychologist had been talking to Perrin over the past 2 years and then given Dane like, here's a list of 5 things you can say to completely fuck this guy up, like mentally before you fight him. Like, oh, okay. Oh, blame him for all the violence that I've caused. Great. Got it. Thanks. Like, it's like the perfect thing to say to just get Perrin to go like, oh.
I feel like he's like, Dane's like still like so disappointed in himself. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just like, I was before you. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, I don't think he's like happy about any of this. Like,
Well, no,
well,
I don't
no.
think so either.
No,
You know.
I don't think so either.
it's just like,
He did not say, you killed my father, prepare to die, which is what he should have said.
Well, the season's not over yet, Joe.
Right?
This was the initial scuffle. Nothing really much happened here.
This is a total ripoff of The Princess Bride. Just saying.
Totally.
We learned that
Parrot
fight.
Oh,
is-
Yes,
Sorry.
we learned that.
Buttercup gets into a knife fight.
It's another turning of it. We learned that Fail can fight. She's got a lot of knives.
Yeah.
I love some of those. There was that one move where she took him down. She grabbed him by the white cloak with her legs and flipped him around.
Yeah, what
her,
is a
like,
wrestling move?
Yeah, she did like a leg scissors take down. Yeah.
Yes. That was pretty fucking cool, man. And basically Perrin gets beat up pretty bad, and then she throws a knife at Dane.
Perrin's like looking at her and is like so worried about her that he gets like a stabbed in the stomach.
Yes.
It's like, just worry about your own
Well,
fight.
he also
She's fine.
got like axed in the chest, or just like a couple of weeks
He's
ago. Like,
fine. That was
Yeah,
He also led an incursion into a camp full of armed and armored soldiers, just in like a shirt with his hands totally empty.
Yeah.
And like I kind of got the impression at the end of last season that Perrin had sort of put that Way of the Leaf stuff to the side, and I think that was kind of the impression that I got throughout the season, to the point where it almost seems like they forgot to give him a weapon.
oh, shit.
I
Top guy
feel
got
like
fired
he's
that day.
like that's why I said before. I feel like he'll kill Trollocs, but like
Yeah.
he doesn't, like, he feels the responsibility for like this happening, and he doesn't think like the way to answer that is with more.
I guess.
After he
Yeah,
kills
he'll
his
just
father and all, right?
Stuck knives.
Well, his father did kill his best boy.
His best boy.
He was a very
Who's my
good
best
point.
one? Right.
It was still a wolf, but I'm surprised you're saying that, Tom, because you're always on the fence, or on the.
I know,
It's an animal, not a human.
I mean,
But it talks.
No, it doesn't.
Well, not on the show.
It doesn't talk in the books. It doesn't talk in the books, Jen.
It does.
No, it
Joe.
doesn't. It sends images,
Alan.
complex images. Sends complex images to Brendan's brain.
Whatever. It's more than a dog does.
That's true. Well, yeah, I guess so.
What? You gonna argue that point with me?
I'm not.
You sounded like you were going
I
to.
wasn't
My
gonna
dog
argue.
talks to me all the time. I don't know what you mean.
I don't even have a dog.
Communicate.
David Berkowitz would disagree with you. All right.
My dog has definitely given me looks that say, "What the fuck?"
Right.
Yeah, all my cats do that all the time too.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh yeah. So then we get Alana get attacked by White Cloak. Valda's like, let's go have fun with child buyer. Yet they don't. They just hide in the woods the whole time.
Yeah.
So Alana gets riddled with arrows. She takes a bunch of White Cloaks out though. And then Maxim shows up. Like I was like, oh, Maxim's showing up. As soon as I saw Alana get hit with the first arrow, I was like, Maxim's going to be coming back. And he shows up and kills the rest of the White Cloaks. This best line of the entire episode, right? He says, he's like, you turned off the bond after the fifth arrow, right? Is that something like what he said?
You turned it on.
Well, that's the best. That's the best line of the episode that you got totally wrong.
Oh, go
Turned the
ahead.
bond back on.
I have it right here.
Second arrow.
How did you find me? You turned the bond back on 5 hours ago.
Oh, 5 hours ago.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had actually written it down, but I couldn't find it.
And I don't remember if that's before or after the best visual of the episode, where Alana pulls an arrow out of herself and tosses it in the air and then magics it back at a guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize she pulled
Yes.
it out of herself.
Right. Like she's like, I heard what landed on the beach where he caught the arrow and killed a guy.
Yeah.
Let me show you a little bit cooler version of that.
Now, what she should have said is, can I borrow that to Maxim, and pulled the one out of him? would have been a little bit funnier. But yeah, that was my favorite line of the episode.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I just glanced down at my notes and I take it all back. That's not the best line of the episode.
What is
the best line of the episode is when Maxim refers to the two rivers as Turnip Mountain.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone can say like, I wish there was less Maxim in this episode.
Yeah.
He does have a couple of great lines.
Well, these parts I definitely would have kept. Yeah. And so that's the end of the Two Rivers part.
So Bayer I guess Bayer's still alive. I was looking really closely.
I don't think
Valda's not there.
Valda's
I think
alive.
Bayer's with Valda. I think the two of them are still hiding in the trees.
Okay.
Like
I don't think they killed any white cloaks with names.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, Bayer
either.
just got a name 5 minutes prior to this.
Yes.
Well, then he's fine.
Right. I mean, Bayer could just be Jaichim Part 2.
Right.
That's true.
Why would they say his name and then like long hold on a shot of him if he was going to die like 10 seconds later? I don't know.
Right. So
Guess we'll find out.
Skeeter in chat, but is his mustache okay? That's the only important thing.
Yeah.
I really thought, well, sorry, I'll save that for later.
Okay.
Shall we jump over to the Isle Waste?
Sure.
Jump.
All right. So Avienda's been assigned to teach Rand about Isle Waste as part of her training. She's not happy about it.
She dislikes him so much.
Yes.
It's
amazing to watch.
Yeah.
I loved Mullane's like cannot like those are wrong words to use to get out of it.
Yeah. They go back to Cold Rock's Hold, which is just a bunch of rocks on a hill.
Presumably it's cool inside.
Yeah, I guess so. We learned Ruach has 2 wives, and it's not uncommon in the Aiel culture for somebody to take multiple lovers. The wives seem to like each other pretty much too. And is this the first time we get Bear's name? Because I know we've been having this conversation.
I think it's the first time anyone says it.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's been in the subtitles, but I think it's the first time anyone says it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we finally get her name spoken out loud.
I do like Avienda's little bit about that later, where she's like you really only marry one person. That seems like a lot to handle. Like,
yes. Yeah. Yeah. And meanwhile, Rand is juggling 2 women right now, so kind of ironic.
You know what? You're right.
Look,
that didn't even occur to me.
Yep.
We could work this out. It's in my blood.
Lan eats some worms with Melindra.
Yeah, what?
Oh, they look like kind of pill bugs or something.
Why did he eat that? Is that in the book?
I don't remember. It might be.
Okay. Good.
And then we get our first dream walking lesson. Egwene promises not to enter the dream world without the wise ones, and I guess technically she didn't do that at the end, right, of the episode, because she's in people's dream. I don't know. That's like a metaphysics question, maybe.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yes. I think you can say she doesn't go into, because they make a clear distinction. Your dreams are your dreams.
Yes.
They touch tel'aran'rhiod, but they aren't tel'aran'rhiod, right? And those ghosts that Jen referred to in her recap, I think those are people who are touching tel'aran'rhiod briefly and then going back into their normal dreams.
That wasn't the same ghost? It wasn't the same...
There was 2. There was like a kid and there was a grown up.
Oh, I didn't realize they were 2 different...
And the kid...
I was trying to figure out who that kid was.
The kid has a creepy doll.
Yeah.
It was like a horror movie for a second.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So, but yeah, so I think that's what that is intended to be. And then, so she doesn't go into tel'aran'rhiod. She goes into different people's dreams. Skill, I guess, she learned when we were watching.
Yes. I didn't get the impression that there were more lessons because she's just leaving Rand's tent saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay with the wise ones. And I just presumed it was because she was going to be doing more training and that there was no other training that happened, at least yet. But I don't think that matters really.
No, it's fine. She's a dreamer. She can dream.
Yeah. We learn that death in the dream world means death here. Keep that in the back of your mind. And then, Lanfear's there.
That's not. That's fine.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's something that's going to obviously come into play.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have said it.
It's Chekhov's dreams.
Yeah, it's Chekhov's dreams. And Lanfear's here. Egwene, of course, has no idea who she is because Egwene's never met Lanfear. And then we learn that, right, what did the Aiel call them? Shadow Soul?
Shadow Soul. But how do they know that?
How do they know what?
When she comes back, they're immediately like, oh my God, she's being...
I have no idea.
I assume they're kind of like watching her in the dream because they go into it too. So I assume that they're kind of like just checking her out from a distance and seeing how she does.
I didn't get that impression. I think it was
that's the only way that they. I mean, maybe there's a residue, a shadow soul residue.
I don't know.
Like how would they?
That's actually kind of what I thought. That
I guess it's possible.
Like like Lanfear's just so evil, and the Forsaken are just so evil that people who are attuned to, magic stuff can just tell when they're around.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I feel like if they were watching her, they were like, oh, she's getting choked out by one of the Forsaken. Let's just see how she handles this.
Yeah.
They dropped the pin.
Drop the pin.
They didn't drop it. I think the time just passed, right?
Well, maybe that's what it is. They dropped the pin to wake her up.
I don't know. But they were in whatever. If they were in tel'aran'rhiod, how did they drop the pin?
They didn't drop the pin. I think the time was up on.
Well, no, I misunderstood that.
I think it just happened to be at the same time. It just happened to be at the same time that Lanfear was choking her out.
Good timing.
Yeah, good
Very
timing.
Good timing.
We get a scene with Lan and Melindra reminiscing about Malkir. Nothing really too interesting there. Then we get the scene where Egwene, I was just talking about, where she leaves Rand's tent. She's like going to stay with the wise ones. I don't know. It was a little bit of a weird scene. I don't know. It was awkward to me. Not like a bad scene. I'm just saying there was a very awkward scene. I think it's
supposed to be awkward.
Yeah, it's supposed to be awkward.
Yeah.
She didn't leave. I don't think the impression that I got from that scene is that the wise ones don't give a shit where Egwene sleeps. And she just kind of didn't want to be there. For whatever reason.
Wow. I didn't think that at all.
It's just like the vibe is like, oh, this isn't really like, and I swear I'm not saying this to provoke Jen or anything, but the whole vibe is like, this isn't working out, and neither of us wants to admit that it's not working out. So I'm just gonna go for a while.
I feel like he now has in his head like,
well,
when he saw Lanfear. No, but like, what he's gonna like, I saw you and Rodian and whatever. I don't know. Something's off. I think she feels that there's like a distance between them, but I don't know if she's like, because of how horrified she is at the end. I mean, there's a lot going on, but I don't know if she's like as much out of it as he is at this point. I don't know. I think it's not great. He
seems to be struggling though. I mean, he kind of made we had to put his head in his hands right at the end of that scene. Like,
he's struggling. She was kind of like, I'll stay if you want me to, but I don't know if she really wanted him to say yes. Like she put it out there as like a
she does. That's what I'm saying.
And he's like, no, it's fine. And then like they kiss and then she leaves, but it's like not.
Yeah,
it's awkward.
Yes, for anyone who's like ended a relationship, but you haven't really ended it yet. Like that kiss was very realistic.
2 years ago.
The kind of, So, I don't know. I like that, Brendan. I think they're for different reasons. They're both kind of like, realizing now that like the vibes are off and they should be off. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, definitely not now.
Yeah.
We get a nice scene between Moiraine and Lan where she tells him what she saw in the rings. Isn't it nice that the two of them trust each other again? And he seems to be taking it well. So I noticed that, right? I was like, oh wow, he's taking this really well. And then there's the little bit with the usquai and the drinking afterwards. And then I thought, was he drunk the whole time? And that's why he was kind of taking it so well.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway.
Yeah, he was. I don't know what else his reaction could really be. I kind of feel like it's just like, all right, well, you're not, we'll just, everyone's gonna die eventually. Like, I don't know, like, we'll just take it one day at a time, basically. Like, you're not gonna die tonight. So,
I don't understand what you, Joe, want Lan to be like. Because if Lan's too emotional, you say that Lan's not behaving like he's supposed to behave in the books, where he's like all stoic and grim and whatever else. And now he's just like pretty stoic and nonchalant almost about Moraine telling him she knows she's going to die, or she's probably going to die. And you're like, well, why isn't he reacting more?
No, I was asking if he's reacting that way because he's drunk. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression at all. I hear where you're coming from, Joe. I do think,
like, if you watch the scene again, and I feel like you watch it, you can almost see that he might be acting drunk the whole time.
I don't know if he gets drunk. Like,
he can't get the usquai gets him drunk.
Is he like Wolverine?
Would Moraine also be drunk?
Maybe.
No, he does get drunk, right? Too, because isn't it the first season where she's like, I could tell when you drink or something like that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You always get emotional when you drink or something.
Yeah, and he didn't get. Oh, so maybe then he's not drunk because he didn't get emotional.
Yeah. I do think, like, I do like that he's like, come on, is it tonight? You're gonna die tonight?
Yeah.
Is that what you saw? Oh no. Okay, then come on.
I feel like you can rewatch that conversation and just look at Lan and say, this whole time he's thinking, I want to drink some more of this usquai, and not paying attention to what she's saying.
When is she going to finish talking so I can take this bottle out of my head?
Yes, exactly. Go back and watch it. I'm telling you.
That bug he ate.
I'm going to ask. Yeah. Oh, it's like, it's got some
like
sort of weird
high
psychotropic effect.
Yeah.
Brendan, I'm going to ask you this question again because we've asked it to you a lot of times, and I want to know if anything's changed. Do you think Moraine's going to die at the end of the season? I'll even say at the end of the season, or just relatively soon. I don't know. You pick.
I still don't.
Okay.
If for no other reason than she is far and away the most famous person in this cast, and by a considerable margin, the focus of the marketing, to such an extent that I literally cannot imagine them advertising the show without her. But that's a real world answer. In terms of the story, at this point, I really don't know.
Well, they could bring back. He's a really popular actor. More popular than Rosamund Pike.
Not in America.
No, but this is a world show. This show's clearly
it's for the world.
It's for the world. This show is for the world. It is
for the world.
It's very world marketed. It's got a very diverse cast from people from fucking probably 100 countries have been or worked in this show. It is a world show for the world.
I mean, possibly, but again, that's a like I said, that's a real world answer. The story answer is I still don't think so. But at this point in the season, I'm not ruling it out entirely like I did in I think in our preview episode where I was like, of course he's not going to fucking die. Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. I just was going to ask because it came up in this episode. That's the only reason I wanted to ask you again to see where you still stand. I really did like this scene though. This was a really good scene. I'm glad that they, like I said, I'm happy that the two of them trust each other again and are like, opening up and sharing important information with each other. So much better than last season when you had to see them kind of at odds. So we got a Rand and Lanfear scene. So I know this is when I noticed when they go in tel'aran'rhiod, if you listen, like the sound is different. Like there's a little bit of reverb on their voices, and it kind of sounds like there's no ambient sound.
Now I have a question.
So what the way that if you go back and watch these tel'aran'rhiod scenes, and I don't know if they did it in the last season, but in this season, there's very distinct sound to a tel'aran'rhiod, and I love that they're doing that. It's subtle, but you can definitely hear it if you.
When you say tel'aran'rhiod, do you mean everybody's dreams?
I think it was both, to be honest with you.
Rand's dream, not tel'aran'rhiod.
Well, no, I guess anytime they're dreaming,
Okay.
I think they did it both times. Yeah, I think they did it both times. But yeah, it's go ahead.
No, finish.
No, I was just gonna say, like there's like a slight reverb on the voices, and the ambient sound is very like either washed out or there is almost no ambient sound.
I didn't notice that specifically. I did notice a couple of times, very, very specifically in the scene where Lanfear and Rand are talking. There are cuts where there normally wouldn't be cuts. Like she's walking up to him sitting on the rock, and she's just like they're talking, and then rather than show her sit down, it just cuts and she's already seated.
Yeah.
Which is, and when I say a weird cut, I don't mean like, one of the weird cuts where they cut and 6 months have passed. It's just like, it's deliberately weird.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
It's like dream time passage.
Yeah. Rand thinks she can be saved and she loves him.
Well,
this is a really
gives
whack
in.
couple.
That's it.
I also, my note from here was Brendan 100% called exactly what he was going to say, like to the letter, where you're like, he's dumb enough to like, I can save you. I saw, like, it was exactly, really, I was like, it's like you wrote the script.
He hasn't kissed her this season, right? He kept pulling away.
Or she pulled away.
Yes,
this is
he
the first
went
time.
for it in episode 2 or whatever.
Yeah, she pulled. Okay, this is the first time they've kissed.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. Because we were talking about whether they've been smooching in the dreams, like, because remember she's been visiting his dreams.
Yeah, I thought
there's dialogue that they 100% have not.
Yeah.
I remember having that conversation a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, I think like probably when he first met back up with Egwene, it was like a hard no. And now slowly over time, it's been like getting closer and closer. And now it's like they're professing their love for each other, basically on a freaking rock. Yeah, I know that's the rock they broke up on, but that's a rock they've sat on a million times because she knew exactly where he was when he went away from the town. That's their rock.
I'm just saying, the last time he was there.
That's where he was. And that's where she went, and that's where she made out with him and stared at Egwene's eyes while she did it. Taking off his coat.
With Egwene's haircut.
Right, yes.
Yes.
Taking off his coat like this is happening on your rock.
I think Lanfear likes to be watched.
At the moment Rand and Lanfear kiss on the rock, I have a note here that just says, "Oh God, here we go." But by the end of the episode, I crossed it out because I think I'm probably going to agree.
Before we get to that, though, there's a scene where Egwene takes Moiraine to Swan's dreams so she can have a conversation with her. Basically, I love how she says, "I know two things to be true." She says, "The White Tower was meant to that need a Rand," and then she's like, "And that's it." And tries to
I love that.
When before they go to the love shack, and Moiraine is asking Egwene to take her into tel'aran'rhiod, I thought that Moiraine was about to, for reasons passing understanding, have Egwene take her to see Lanfear.
Oh.
And I started to have like a a mild, if genuine, panic reaction of like, this is such a bad idea. This is such a bad idea. Why are you doing this? This is a terrible, terrible idea. And then it turned out to be not that, and it still wasn't like a great idea, but it wasn't as bad as an idea as I had.
She wanted to, you know, she didn't want to leave things open with Swan, knowing that or thinking that she's gonna die anytime.
Right. She's putting her affairs in order, and this is important information. And I love this scene because there are lines of dialogue in the trailer that you assume are directed towards Rand and they're directed towards Swan. And here's the third time, Brendan, that you were 100% right. She tells Swan exactly what you have been saying for years, and Swan says exactly what you have been saying for years, right? Like, yes. She tells her, like, you fucked it up. I did my job. You were supposed to do this. You didn't.
Well, she says that last season too, right? When she confronts Swan with Rand, like when they have the conversation. She says the same thing, like, you didn't do your part. I did mine. Like, I did what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, but Swan also tells her, which is the real thing I've been saying the whole time.
Yeah.
Moraine should have been the Emerald.
But Moraine
should have been the one in the tower.
But then she says why she shouldn't.
She says
worked.
People make enemies. She makes too many enemies.
To make her feel better.
No, I think Moraine's right. Everyone would have been really angry with Moraine. If Moraine was the Amyrlin, she would have pissed everybody off, because that's what she does.
Whatever. Tom's right. I was right the whole time.
I have a note here. My note here is, here you go, Brendan.
I did bloody tell you.
Swan agrees with you. I thought of you, Brendan, as soon as I saw that. So.
And then she's like, you know what? Actually, I wish we never heard the prophecy.
Yeah.
Well,
let's backtrack it.
If we're making wishes, we might as well.
Yeah.
But like as we talked about in that episode, they were screwed anyway. It was not going to work.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Right before they hear the prophecy, they're having a conversation that is a conversation about why they're eventually going to break up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and even today in this episode, Maureen's like, so what would we have done? Just like go run away and live in a fishing hut? And she's like,
yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, for real?
That's not what I wanted to do.
That's what you really wanted to do?
But even Swan says, like, you know, we'll fix it, and we'll get it right in another life, and I'll wait for you in another life.
Great.
She doesn't tell Swan, though, right, that she's not going to make it out. She never tells her the second thing.
The closest thing she does is say
she's not going to be at the last battle, right?
No, she says when Swan says we'll try again in the next life, and she goes, I'll wait for you every time, is her saying I'm gonna die first.
Swan says that, though, doesn't she?
No.
Oh, Moraine says that?
No.
Okay.
She says, we'll try it again in the next life. And Moraine says, I will wait for you every time.
She doesn't mention she won't be at the last battle. That was with the land, right? That was her conversation.
No.
Okay.
She does not tell Swan.
Yeah. So she gets out of there. Distracts her. I mean, this is.
You don't see the end.
You don't see the end.
That's true.
But,
and then we get this wonderful Egwene dream hopping scene. My wife was like, this is a bit invasive of her. Like,
yeah, it's totally invasive.
And I was like, I said, in the books, this is considered invasive too. Like, it's not something that's encouraged to do. But we get Nynaeve with little Elnor. That's so sweet.
Jnur.
Elnor.
I almost put it in there, but Elnor
Jen, I put Elnor Jur in my notes, and then I was like, no, I'm going to delete this because they'll get mad if I say
it's Elnor Jnur.
No, Jur.
JNR.
No, it's not JNR. It's just JR.
That's how Elnor Snur.
Snur.
Yeah, but no, in the subtitles, it was Elnor Jur, which is how Junior
All
is
right.
spelled.
I understand.
Yes.
Even though, once again, that's not how Junior works.
Right.
I know. Well, she's also
the younger Elnor.
She's actually,
They didn't have to differentiate.
But in Brennan, in the Wheel of Time, you put an N in between it, so it's generic. No,
okay.
I'm just kidding.
But only if you're born on the 9th day of the week.
That's the 58th minute and 61st second. We get that nice scene. We get go ahead.
I was just that scene, Nynaeve and Egwene are seeing two different things in that scene, because I think there's almost no way that Egwene knows what happened to Nynaeve when she was in the Arches. So Egwene thinks she's seeing Nynaeve having a dream about an imaginary hypothetical future child she might have. And it's a nice, happy, hopeful dream.
Or just anybody that she's training, like a girl from the town. It doesn't even have to like.
Well, I think
it doesn't even necessarily have to be her daughter.
Well,
whereas Nynaeve is having an incredibly sad dream about her actual child who only never existed, and
who she birthed and raised for 6 years.
Yeah,
it's really messed up. I would just imagine though that Egwene would she would see the resemblance and think of it not as a random girl that she's thinking. It's an imaginary daughter that she's never had. But because I don't think Nynaeve ever tells Egwene. She tells Lan.
Yeah,
that's all we see, and she doesn't even tell him everything. She just kind of mentions having the daughter.
She's also like older. But she's even kind of sadder that like Nynaeve aged her like in her dream.
Right, as if it was still.
It's like I don't know.
It's incredibly.
Well,
it's incredibly sad.
That's why, but it's just like
yes. But Egwene's like,
right.
It's a sweet. It's a little sweet montage.
It's right back to Egwene telling her like, whoa, it wasn't even real. Like that'll make her feel
good.
better.
You're fine. None of it was real.
Yeah, you never experienced all of that stuff. We get Jen, your favorite scene. Elaine and Avienda on the boat. Elaine dressed up as the Windfinder and Avienda Titanicking her, whatever you want to call it.
It sounds like a sex position.
Titanicking.
It was a sex position.
It also looks like a sex position.
Titanicking her. Jack, what's his last name in Titanic?
Dawson.
Jack Lawson?
Does she have a Dawson?
Dawson, that's
right there. Not
Dawsoning him.
Half second of hesitation. What's Jack Dawson?
She's Jack Dawsoning Elaine.
She's been workshopping this Titanic joke all day. She thinks she doesn't have it. She doesn't do her research. She puts the work in.
Yeah.
As soon as it happened, I said out loud, "It's like Titanic." I mean. The line that I quoted was not from that scene, but it's okay. I almost said, like, I'm the Queen of Camelin, but I didn't know it. I wasn't sure about that one.
Also, she
Either
is.
One of those I feel like would have worked.
She's not yet, but
right.
Then we get this is the most heartbreaking scene, I think, in the entire episode, is Matt's dream. Where
my gosh.
His dream is just that his mom's proud of him and his sisters are okay. That's his dream. And then,
just don't have to sleep on the floor anymore.
Yes, they don't have to sleep on the floor anymore. Jen, you're taking a really poignant scene and you're ruining it.
No, it's sad. It's like.
Does anybody think the girls were drunk when they found out they didn't have to sleep on the floor? Because that's the vibe I got.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh my gosh. Man. This.
Oh no, did I break the podcast?
Joe's gone. For those of you listening, Joe has left and Jen cannot breathe.
I'm laughing at Joe now. Oh my god.
I gotta take this off.
He's undressing, folks.
I'm sorry, guys.
That was very, very well done. Try and wrangle it back on track.
Okay, I think I'm okay.
This was the most emotionally, I think, for me, the most emotionally wrenching scene. It was only the brief seconds, just not only because we just saw poor Nanny die and know that this can never happen, but even in his dream of protecting his sisters and bringing them into a world of safety and relative luxury, and his mom being proud of him. His mom says, "I'm proud of you," and he cannot handle it. Even in his dreams, he's he can't actually accept that that this dream could be true, you know?
I'm sorry, I was just thinking of what Brendan said again.
I didn't
I tried, folks. I'm sorry.
I forget who posted it, but I saw before I watched the episode, I saw somebody post something about it was on Blue Skies. Did anyone else feel personally victimized by season 3, episode 5 of The Wheel of Time? And I read it and I was like, come on, how bad could it? Like, you're being ridiculous. You're being, it's not going to be that bad. And then they got to this scene. I was like, well, shit.
No.
Yeah. I kind of do now.
She used the other P word to describe him. Yeah. And then they held on, like they held the shot on Natty.
Like it was like her. It was like her. Like
series, now. Ladies and gentlemen, a series wrap on Natty Cawthon.
Yeah.
The actress's name I always forget. And
Juliette Howland.
Yes, thank you.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Hashtag Hen News.
I feel like
as if she's really dead, but
no, but I will say this. Like, I do think just because of because of Hen News, because of the fact that like we've, talked to her and like had this kind of weird, relationship, for lack of a better term, like her death affected me so much more than I think just a casual fan might have been impacted by it. I think it's very strong no matter what, but I think like this stinks.
Yeah. Joe's gone.
I just look what Gabe wrote in the chat.
I know, I'm not saying it out loud because it's horrible.
No, I didn't say you say it. Just all you have to do is just read it. Anyway, let's move away from this scene. It was very emotional for us. The final
you're a bad man.
The final scene is she pops into Rand's dream and she's like, "Oh,
that's not the file. Hold on a second.
No, you skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped Perrin.
Oh my God.
Perrin and Hopper and Fail. Oh, that was pretty quick.
Yeah, he's married to her.
He's already dreaming about this other woman. He's clearly gotten over his wife, Layla.
There is nobody who could have walked out into that blacksmith shop that wouldn't have really annoyed me.
It's true.
Why?
What if it was just Perrin and Hopper, though?
That would have been fine.
Okay.
I would have been cool with that. Okay. But like, because it could really only be 3 people. It was either going to be Layla. They were either going to open the fridge and let her out. It was going to be Egwene, and we were going to be back to that love triangle bullshit.
Oh God!
Wow, yeah.
And like, I think I 100% think like Egwene's reaction to Fael was a combination of who is this, and also thank God it wasn't me. And then it was Fael, who he barely knows.
I know, and he doesn't really seem to care about at all.
That doesn't mean like he wants to marry her. It's just like a.
But if you're gonna have a dream about a girl you just met,
have a crush on.
It wouldn't be that.
Well,
that's.
But this is a TV show.
That's true.
It's just
that
like
dream, Jen. Come on, that dream is 1000% what Perrin wishes. That all of those dreams are what they wish their life was.
That's true.
Right.
Perrin's a blacksmith, and Hopper's not dead, and this
he's got a new
girl who,
she won't stop throwing knives.
I've got to forge more knives for her, quick.
Yes,
running out of knives.
I mean, again, it isn't. I mean, whatever. Just is a relative term, I guess, but like, it has been a number of weeks that they've known each other, at least 2 plus.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's not like he met her yesterday and he's having a dream about like that they're working at the blacksmith forge together. And I do think like, whatever. Earlier in the episode, like her being threatened for a second is what distracts him and allows him to get stabbed. So like, it's not like 100% out of nowhere. True. Like he is like focused on her more than like Beta G. I just go, all right, don't worry about it. Like, so it's not out of complete left field.
I feel like it's just because he feels responsible for her. That was the vibe I got. Like he just doesn't want her to get hurt. That's kind of why he didn't want her to come. And maybe he'll feel a little guilty if she got hurt. But Apparently not. Apparently he's got something for her. And Hopper.
I want to talk about I want to put I do want to talk about this a little bit more.
I do too. I have some stuff highlighted here for spoiler part. Can we move now? We can move to Egwene. The final dream. Rand's dreaming about their special place, I guess, right? This is where we broke up. No, this is where we came to, I don't know.
It's their rock.
It's their rock. And then I love how you just see, because I was like, ooh, how are you going to see? I was like, is she hiding and you're just going to kind of see like her head all of a sudden pop out? But it was like the hand that came out, right? That
but
was
it's like the wrong hand.
It was a super, she's
it's
like
not this hand.
No, yeah, she used the other hand.
It's not in front of him. It's the opposite. It's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like her thumb down. So if she was in front of him, like, and he was blocking her and they're face to face, it would be thumb up.
But I'm like pretty positive. Like this?
She's laying on his lap.
Sitting on his lap and went like this. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why. I couldn't figure out the positioning. I thought they were face to face.
It's designed to look, I'm 100% convinced it's designed to look weird. It's not like.
I get it. Here it is.
Sherbet Mango just posted a screenshot of it in the chat, and it is a horror movie poster.
Yeah. Yes.
You're right.
Look at it's one there should be a title and from the twisted mind of visionary directors, some bullshit.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Well, no, he's a good director.
It's a Blumhouse production.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought she was kind of like this, like she's like got her back to him, right? Like she's kind of like this up.
Yeah. I thought she would. I just assumed they were face to face.
But the hand was not what I was going to.
Yes,
that hand was not what I thought I was going to see. Like the first thing you were going to see.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Ooh, I like that." That was unexpected.
Yeah, they immediately let you know, like, oh, whatever this is, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. Right? He's just like weirdly sitting there. It was almost like in a horror movie where someone's like dead and you're like trying to walk up behind them and they're like propped up. It was just like weird, and and the hand.
And then like the whole
the falls
body,
over. Yeah.
The legs are still there. The body falls over.
She just picks her head up. Yeah. So Lanfear's making out with Rand. Egwene sees it, is horrified by it, and then makes the connection that Lanfear is been the one who's pretending to be Rhaena and messing with her.
Do you think that Lanfear gives her that connection?
I thought
she figures it out on her own?
I don't. Yeah, like she saw her earlier in the episode and didn't make the connection, but here she does, and I feel like Lanfear kind of sent those images to her.
It was me. I want her to know it was me. You know?
I did it 35 minutes ago.
Yes, yeah.
Wayne.
Yeah. And then she's like smiling, obviously, the whole time because Lanfear likes to be watched.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, you first.
No, it's just like it's such a horror movie that the episode ends on a scream and a cut and a hard cut to black. Like it's
there was a scream.
Yeah, Egwene screams in the episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh boy. Do you think they're still together? Do you guys think they're still together?
I
think their relationship can withstand Rand and Egwene.
Okay. I don't know. I seem to remember a scene in the trailer where Rand's crying and Egwene's like, "Do you love her?"
Yeah.
What about the scene in the trailer
probably
where they're
in the next episode
laying next to each other and they wake up next to each other?
Yeah, that could happen.
That's them. I think that might be them waking up into tel'aran'rhiod. Now I don't think that it's them waking up and they're physically in the room sleeping in the world. I think that scene is them falling asleep and just entering tel'aran'rhiod. Now that's what I think.
tel'aran'rhiod?
Yeah. I think to Joe's point, like that might be like what she did with Moraine. She's going to do it Rand later. I do wonder whether that scene from the trailer is cut in a way to mislead you.
Well, it could be. It
could just be a scene that doesn't exist too.
Or like he's like, no, like immediately, and but he's crying first or whatever, and like
that That could be her breaking up with him again, and he starts crying.
There is no way. There is no way Rand is smart enough to say no to that question.
No. Okay. So, I am wondering, and whatever. This is not a book spoilery. This plot does not exist in the books like this at all.
Okay.
In any way. So, I do wonder whether Rand actually is smart, and like he is for some reason like playing Lanfear here.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about that. I don't know about it. Like, what makes you think he's playing her?
All right, and because
and to what end? Just to keep her busy?
No. There's no scene in this episode where Rand and Moiraine talk to each other.
That's true.
And I do wonder if, like, I think there's a possibility that they have discussed what happened, what they both saw off screen, and now are like, this is what we're going to do to address it.
I don't know. I don't think they've had that conversation.
I mean, we'll find out soon, because if they haven't, they had better in the next episode or two. But like, I think that there's a possibility that Rand isn't dumb. That's all I want to say. I want to throw that out there, that there's a possibility that he is. The way I put it is like, I want
to talk about this on spoilers.
Okay, but this is not okay. Yeah, in season 2, he used Lanfear as a get out of jail free card, right? Literally,
yes.
Right. He was able to kind of use the fact that she wanted him, like, for his own ends, and I think that there's a possibility that he's doing that again, for some reason.
All right, I'm not sure to what end, but I guess we'll see. Any further conversation before we do our ratings?
No.
All right, let's pull them out. Anyone want to go first? I'll go first. I'm going to give this. Actually,
I feel like you say that every week.
No. Every week I usually say I don't want to go first. This week I'm saying I will go first.
Okay, I thought we were going to do. I honestly thought we were just going to do a round robin of where I went first in episode 1. But that's fine.
I don't remember who went first in episode 1.
I did.
So you can go first then, Tom.
Okay. So I will say this. After I watched this episode, I was like, okay, I think this is my least favorite episode of the season so far, and I did like it a lot more talking about it tonight
Me
than
too.
I did
I was thinking the same
when
thing.
I was done. But I still think it's the weakest episode of the season so far.
Yes.
I am gonna give this like a 3.25.
I was gonna give it a 3. I did. Yeah, weirdly, I did enjoy talking about this episode a lot, though, for not really liking it too much.
Yeah, I thought there's.
I just thought not even that. It's like kind of obviously right. The last episode 4, there was gonna be the next episode was not gonna be as good, and it wasn't even like the subjects that they covered in the episode. It was just kind of, I feel like it wasn't very well constructed. I did like a lot of the individual scenes, but it was a bit like, I don't know. I feel like they tried to cram too much in. I don't want to say cram too much information, but they did, because they jumped to a lot of conclusions in this episode to move the story along, I think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just felt like I'm with you a little bit. I think I'm a little different. I feel like, much like episode 2 has to like go, okay, our inciting incidents are in episode 1. Now, episode 2, we're going to tell you what the storylines of this season are going to be. Like, they had a mid-season finale, and now they're re-level setting. And I think that's what this episode was. It was like, okay, let's let you know how the next 4 episodes are going to play out and what like the disparate storylines really are. And like, it was just a lot of people talking. That's really what this episode was. There was a fight in the middle, the White Cloaks, but it was just a lot of setup, and like, that's fine. 3.25 and 3 are good grades. They're just not like,
yeah.
I
mean, Moraine's whole thing was really just like, I guess, recovering from what she saw, or kind of just like stewing in
coming
that.
to terms with.
Yeah. Rand was nothing. There was nothing really about. He almost seemed like he was fine when they got to Cold Rock's Hold, chasing the little girl around. Didn't seem to be any lingering effects to him, but I guess he's not seeing his future, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Anyway, sorry, Jen and Brendan.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I actually liked it a lot. I wish it was a little brighter. I feel like I was, even when I watched it on the computer, I was struggling to see a lot of stuff. But I really liked it.
Brendan.
Okay. At the end of last week's episode, I was talking about how it was a consensus agreement. We all agreed that it was 5 across the board. It was the best episode of the show, but it was an aberration. Like, the structure of it was so different from how the show usually is. And at this point, we're like 20 episodes in, and the show has established a very clear formula, which is not a bad thing. I mean, it's not always a bad thing. Like, the show has established a very clear formula for how the show is, which is like kind of what I was talking about a few weeks ago about how the trailer presented a show that is not how this show is. This episode is completely follows that formula and executes that formula better than any other episode of the show, in my opinion. This is another 5 for me. This is one of the, this is
wow.
Like, this is, I liked it less after it's funny that you guys said you liked it more after we talked about it, because I ended up liking it a little less. And I still think like it's easily the best 2-episode run the show has had. And I think this is the best regular episode of the show. It does what it does what it does better than it's ever done it before.
Wow.
I love it.
Like, there were, I think I said, like, I had reactions to this show that I previously haven't had. Like I said, when I thought Moraine was taking Egwene to see Lanfear, I was like panicking. And then when the episode ended, I was annoyed that the next one wasn't available, and that's never happened with the show before.
Woo!
Wow.
So
strong words. I love it. Love it.
It's amazing. All right, Brendan, thank you. That's a great way to end your your part of the episode. So I'll just leave it at that. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, see you next time.
And we're back with spoilers. That was didn't see that one coming.
Beta Gia just posted in chat the John Oliver "We Got Him."
Oh. I'm very surprised at that rating for the episode. I thought it was,
5.
and again, it wasn't that I didn't like the stuff, like what was in the episode, like what they did, and even like the spoilery stuff that we're going to talk about didn't really detract too much from the episode. I just thought like the construction of it wasn't. I felt like there was a lot of like pushing the plot along without explanation, like where it was just like you said, the shadows, like how does she know that it's Forsaken, like, and things like that happened. I don't know. Yeah. But I like talking about it. I really enjoyed it as we were talking about it. So maybe I need to see it a third time.
Yeah, the more I talked about it, like the more I was like, oh, that part's really good too, and I like this part. And we didn't even talk about how funny Matt is on the boat.
Oh yeah.
Or my favorite thing. Now I just remember this right now. This isn't really spoiler stuff, but I just remember this. Like, before this show came out, we're like, well, how is Min gonna like fit in with these people? Like, how is Matt gonna like trust her? How are anybody? They don't know her, blah blah blah. And like, we just didn't take it to effect that like, oh, Matt's like a really good friend to people, and he's just like, no, I trust her. She's good. And
yeah,
like, oh, okay.
That's like the that was a nice little bit there where he's forgiven her and she's
enough to vouch for her.
Yeah,
like, and no, so we'll see. Maybe on rewatch in 6 months or a year or whatever we're gonna do that, we'll rate this more favorably, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously our rewatches I feel like are really true ratings. I wanted to talk about the Perrin and Hopper dream. I was very disappointed that we didn't get like either Hopper running over to Egwene or Perrin saying hi to Egwene like he sees her because
right.
I thought he was going to.
I thought that was a perfect opportunity to put that in there, and they didn't.
They're not ready for it yet.
And then now, I'm like, are they just going to play it down and not really do much Wolf Dream stuff in the show? Or they were just like pushing it off? Because I couldn't convince myself that they were pushing it off, because a lot of times they do that because like there's just too much going on. But we've got Egwene in the dream world, so like it's the perfect time. Kill two birds with one stone.
Because I do think if he recognizes Egwene or like looks at her or says anything to her or whatever, you as an audience member could be like, "What? How can he do that?" And they have no time to explain it. Like,
they could have explained it in the next episode.
But they have to do like. They have to do White Cloaks and Trolloc shit and Tinker shit.
Yeah, well, that's why I said they could have taken some time away from Maxim and Alana in this episode and given it to Perrin to do some. That was my knock on the episode. I think they could have cut some of that stuff between Maxim and Alana down and given Perrin some Wolf Dream time.
When the Gray Man came to the tower, I thought that was Slayer until he died.
Yeah, I am now.
Where is Lord Luke?
There's no Slayer on this show.
Yeah, I was gonna. That was my other thing here.
Like, are we never gonna see him again?
Yeah, I don't think. I think that Lord Luke was like just
a way for her to get there.
Maybe he'll die in the fight.
Something for the fans to be like, oh yeah, that's a guy. I like as soon as that they were killed by a Great Man and not Slayer. I'm like, there's no Slayer's not on the show. Right.
Well, at least not yet.
Somebody.
They could introduce him later on because he becomes a little bit more of a bigger character and adversary for Perrin. So maybe they just are pushing him off.
It's true, but they can have Perrin fight somebody else in the last battle. They can have him fight Fane in the last battle.
Yeah, we also have to have like Fane coming in next.
Right. The next two episodes, like I am now wondering whether the Tanchiko storyline doesn't get resolved this season.
Yeah, because we talked about how when we talked to Zoe, or who talked to Zoe? Jen, you did. When you talked to Zoe and asked her about, Tom did, about the Mogedian stuff, she kind of, the way she said it, it was just like that one scene and that's it. That's all they have together. Like there's going to be no climax.
Like, there's not going to be enough time.
Something in episode 8 with like, I think Leandrin and Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we didn't
starting to tell me, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if you should.
We also thought that they'd be in Tanchiko by like episode 3, which they're just arriving in episode 5.
There's a ton of Tanchiko, it looks like, next week though, too.
Yeah,
like, a lot of crazy shit that we like don't know. Like that's not.
Yeah, well,
know, so I don't know.
Like they gotta be Tom, right?
Right.
There's gonna be singing.
There's gonna be singing, right? We know from the set photos and stuff, they're gonna be them walking around a marketplace in costume.
Right,
it's the same marketplace that Leandrin and the crew are walking around in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
But like so much stuff has to happen in episode 6 for Perrin storyline, for episode 7 to be the resolution to that storyline, that I do wonder if it's just like they're not going to get the full, like, I mean, the Tanchiko storyline's a lot smaller in the books, but it's not like it's, you know, the one of the main storylines of the show. And like, are you going to have the map payoff? Or is that, I don't, like, how does that
do something?
Do something, you think?
And,
you can't have them hanging out there.
Why can't the Two Rivers battle be in episode 8?
Just because the episode 7 is called Golden Eyes.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, usually they have the climactic battle in episode 8, but maybe that's going to be the Rand, whatever.
Yeah, they're going to wrap up, I think, with Rand and Moraine and the Io Waste stuff and Landfear. I think that'll come to a head there, and I guess the maybe the Tanchiko stuff also. But yeah, it's called Golden Eyes, and I think yeah, and I remember whoever said, what were they saying? Can't wait for you to see episode 7. Rafe was talking about it.
Yeah, he thinks that it's going to be in a different way, but as big as episode 4.
Yeah, and I think Dave Hill is the writer for that episode who wrote a lot of the Game of Thrones episodes where there were big battles, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Also, like the Tower coup. Is that
Yep.
happening?
Oh God,
Yes.
that could
Something
be
has to
episode-
happen with that.
Yeah,
We
that's
thought
gonna
that
happen.
was going to happen like soon, but it doesn't seem
I
like
think-
it's going to happen next episode.
I think that's episode 8 too.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that.
Yeah, we're
I
not
thought they
ready
would-
for that yet.
It'd be nice if they
I
got
think-
like 6, 7, 8, right? Do the Tower Coup in 6, do Golden Eyes in 7, and then do Al Dahl at 8.
But the Tower Coup next episode?
Well,
They really could. They really could do the Tower Coup in one episode. Like the
Yeah, they
Tower Coup
could.
is just like it happens. Like
So like Swan is like, all right, Elida, I trust you.
and Elida's like
Kicks her right out.
he had Black Aja locked
Yeah.
up in the day, right?
Well, no, I
Maybe
mean that.
she's-
and
maybe
most people
she's-
knew. They didn't know they
She
were
tried to
locked
have
up,
me
but-
killed.
her whole I'm gonna put a vote in the hall about caging the dragon is a hoax, and she's really gonna call for like swans to be deposed. It's just all a ruse.
I think once she gets in the hall, like that's the thing. But like and there's that setup from the beginning about like you don't need to have everybody there. You only need to have 11 sitters there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely they definitely put that in there in the first episode because that's gonna happen
Right.
with the coup.
So who do you guys think is it's Alviarin, right?
Alviarin, I think, is the person that
Well, there's Alviarin, there's Galena, there's Varen, there's like, I mean, how many do you want to go
I think that's the person that
Shiriam.
Yeah, but it's not Shiriam because she's not even in the season. Could be Galena, but I don't think we even
We're
really
not gonna
got her
find
name
out.
like out
Okay.
loud. No, I'm just saying, but I think it's Alviarin.
I don't think it matters.
I think that's who she was about to say.
But Alviarin,
It matters to me, Joe.
well, no, Alviarin's not the head of the Black Aja at this time, right? It's Galena?
No, she's always the head of Black Aja.
No, she becomes head when somebody dies, I think, or gets, right? Chat.
I don't think so.
Alviarin's not the head of the Black Aja in the beginning. Somebody else is. Right?
So
All right. Oh, Dana's saying it's always Alviarin.
yeah, always Alviarin.
Okay. I thought somebody died and she was the one who became
No.
it, but okay.
No, I think Galena is the head of the Red,
Yes.
when she gets captured. That's when Sutama.
Oh yeah, we got
so-
Galena too. We've got Galena. We've got
Varen.
We've got Alviarin. We've got Shiriam all in the tower. Plus who else knows some of those other ones? But yeah, Alviarin. I love how she said Alviarin to die at the end there, so everybody knew.
Right. Remember, we've seen her twice now.
Yeah, she's.
So did Varen use compulsion on? This has been going around on Adelius. That's how she got her to do what she wanted to do.
How do you
That's
use compulsion on somebody when their brain is like shot like that?
I don't know.
though?
You could probably still do it. I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't know how they did. Yeah, I have no idea how they did that.
I do think there's a real strong possibility, one way or the other, that Adelius is faking.
For Varen?
For no,
She's a Black Aja?
I thought that. So last night, I thought like that Varen and Adelius were like, "Hey, look, we're gonna play this out."
Yeah.
And like, right, and
But
you're gonna act this up like it's much worse than it is, and we're gonna like figure stuff out. And
Wouldn't they try to heal her though and be like,
You can't.
no,
She said you can't heal mind stuff.
That's
Remember
true.
Rima said that?
that's true, yeah.
And also, but then they were alone together and she was still like that.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
that kind of mind stuff though, because that whatever. I mean, it was magic. We can't say like it was brain trauma where you could
It's
say,
like
well, it
it's
is a
like
physical
a-
damage.
aphasia.
It's
Yeah.
like a lobotomy almost. That's what she
Yes.
does to the little girl in Tenchico.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily get that, but yes, that girl's lobotomy.
I was thinking
Yeah.
more of it. Is it like with Professor Lockhart, and he just does like memory charms. Like they were just that it was something like that, like a magical effect as opposed to a actual
don't
like
know.
physical malady.
Well, yeah, I agree with that too. But it's like what the effect is. But I think she is getting better because I feel like when she was talking to Varen and she was like, "Is it hot?" It was like she got the word after like a second.
yeah, and there's
and she smiles when she mentions wine.
right.
She was like, "Yeah, I want some of that."
Right. I hope so. I hope she gets better just because
I know.
such
I
a
loved
great
her.
character.
Yeah.
Varen
And
might
she's
get
still
her
good. That
revenge.
performance is so good. Like,
Yeah.
that whole thing. And I at first thought she lied in that scene, but she doesn't. She starts to say things and lets Elida say the rest of the words.
Who,
So,
you
like,
mean Elias?
Elias, yeah.
Oh.
Because Elida asked her a direct question about where Varen is. And she doesn't say the 13th depository. She starts to say the 13th depository and lets Elida finish it. Varen's not there. She knows where Varen is. She's back in the room.
She'd have to be a pretty sound mind to be that clever to do all of that.
That's my point.
Yeah. I think she's faking.
That's why I think.
Well, you think but you don't think that Varen knows.
Well, at first I thought,
because that seems more plausible.
No. I think that Varen does know. That was for Brendan. That was because Brendan mentioned Varen. So
okay.
Throw him off the scent a little bit. I think the two of them are.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think too. But I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, but there was like you saw that Varen like blocked the weave a little bit.
Yeah,
and Elias took the whole thing.
I don't think that
something to that.
I think that,
but maybe she was healed, and they didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, or like not that it didn't happen, but like she's getting better faster than they're letting on.
Okay.
Like, hey, just keep acting like this, and like we can do stuff, and like we can trick people.
Yeah,
you know,
temporary. It was a temporary, whatever weave, but she's playing it out. Yeah, I'm curious to find out if that's anything, or we're just reading too much into it. I hope we get some sort of resolution.
No, but I think the mention of the roses was like in two different scenes, like the rose smell.
Yes,
so that has to mean something.
I think it's just a way for one. You gotta admire that Elida doesn't just live it fashion wise. She's like, I'm red Aja all the way. I like red flowers, red lipstick, red beans,
red wine, and the song "Red Wine," not the actual drink.
Yes. I only listen to Simply Red. All right. What else? What other?
Yeah. Anyone have anything else? I talked about the ones I think that I wanted to talk about. I feel like there was something else that I said I wanted.
There was.
To talk about was it Rand and? Oh no, I think that was the Perrin dream stuff. That's what it was. Not the Lanfear and Rand stuff, I don't think.
Yeah, we talked about Perrin already. Was there something else with Matt?
Like, how much older than Lan is Melindra? She remembers all this stuff, and he was like a baby.
I think she was a young girl, like probably like 7-8 years old, I would think, right?
She's like 50 years old.
They don't really say how old either of them are.
I don't think she looks. Well, I assume Lan is like the same age that he is in
real life,
which is like our age.
I'm gonna say he's. I guess I don't know.
Christ, he's our age. Looks so much better. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. I just thought that was weird. She was like telling him all this stuff, and I was like,
I was thinking the same thing, Jen.
Well, then she looks good because she doesn't look that much older than him.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but I think she was, and I was actually thinking about this specifically while I was watching it. I was like, so what is she like 6-7 years older than him? Like I'm imagining she was a little girl.
I guess, and that makes sense when she says like, I remember the laughter, because like probably like was kind of dancing more serious. No, but I mean,
she
like
did say
she
after the dancing,
everyone
too.
having fun, because she was like, she said that like that had like a sexual undertone to me.
It did. You're right.
After the dancing, so I was like, how old is she? Like,
yeah, that's a good point, Jen. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it makes more sense to me if she was young, because then she only remembers like the good stuff.
Okay, since we're talking about this, I want to bring this up because I've seen people talk about this, thinking or bringing up the idea that Lan is testing her about Malkier because he thinks that her story's bullshit.
Right.
I don't know if I got that.
We never danced.
Yeah.
How would he know?
Right. It's like.
No. Right.
Well, he was raised by Malkiri like other Malkiri, right? Who escaped.
Right. Right. He just doesn't know his home, but he knows I guess he knows his people in some ways. Really, I think, I think that people who are like that are the similar vibes to me, thinking like Rand's smart in the books. He should be smart on the show eventually, and like maybe he is being smart.
Last season when he figured out like that Moraine wasn't really
Yeah, well, land smart. Land figured that out. I'm saying Rand. Like I'm I think the people who are saying Land's testing her, or it's the same vibe as me saying maybe Rand's playing Landfear because we just want the characters not to be that naive. And like to and maybe that's true. I think it's possible. I think like I don't know what's going on with like. Is there a Forsaken in the Waste that's not Lanfear?
I don't know.
Is there going to be?
Oh, there was a great comment on one of our YouTube videos. Somebody said, "What if Asmodean is Cooladin? Like, just cut out the middleman and just Asmodean is Cooladin."
I think it's possible. Here's the thing. I mean, that's possible because, like, there aren't masks of mirrors in this show. Like the Forsaken look like what they look like.
Yeah.
When they're pretending to people, they still look like that.
Yeah, only in the World of Dreams they did it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, I mean, you could, I guess, introduce them now,
sure.
but like, chances are, like, if Samael's in the Waste, he's gonna look like that guy. He's not gonna look like anybody else, and then be Samael, right?
Yeah, Samael's gonna like pop up and like.
I think that
it's gonna be weird.
Yeah. Maybe we know that there's some sort of something that happens that causes Aviendha to make a giant fire spear, presumably an attack on Cold Rock's Hold. Maybe he comes with them. Yeah.
I like that idea though. I was like, I never even thought about that one. We were trying to think of who he could be and never thought Cooladin. Yeah.
Like the same way that like Ravine is Gabriel, like he's compelling everybody.
No, I think it's just he killed him maybe and then did a Mask of Mirrors, but that's what I would say, but it would have to be. But
I think that like I don't remember if we talked about this already or not on the show, but like I think the fact that they deliberately said Samael, you're the weakest after Moghedien, like does lead to the fact that maybe Asmodean is going to get replaced in his role by Samael. And Asmodean is the weakest, and that's why he gets captured. The
statues, Tom, the statues.
I know.
If Samael ever has a guitar in his hands, we'll know.
Well, then who was the other short, stout one then?
You're right. Yeah, I don't know. They're not right. They didn't have all their plans laid when they did that. I don't know.
Steppen led us into lies. Any additional spoiler stuff you want to cover before we wrap this up?
Jacob Carradine.
Well, that's not spoilery.
I know, but why did they?
I'm telling you, they got to throw those characters in there to throw us off when we hear these people are cast and come up with whole elaborate storylines for them, like in the books.
Yeah, and I think they like using names from the books for characters.
Well, remember, in the books, Jacob is a White Cloak who kind of gets roped into doing something he doesn't want to because of threats from Moghedien, right? So
then he dies without like if we didn't have the Prime X-ray or we weren't talking about it, like I wouldn't even have known that was.
They closed up on his face. Like I was like, I don't remember what Jacob looked like, but that's probably him because they did a close up of his face.
All right.
So I was like, well, I didn't remember exactly what it looked like. I was like, well, this has to be him because why would they? The other gray men had like gray wrinkly faces. This guy was a handsome dude. So.
All right.
I'll wrap it up here. I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so go check out our YouTube page and be sure to like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. And check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode. Final thoughts, Jen and Tom.
We have a new patron, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe that we know her, if I'm not wrong. Joining the Illuminators Guild, we have Charnice.
Oh, is that Charnice from Lot and Color?
I think it might be. I'm not
fellow
100%
New Yorker,
sure.
Charnice?
But
Hey,
even if it is or it isn't, welcome, Sharnice.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sharnice.
Thank
We
you
love
either way for becoming a patron, and thank you to all our patrons.
Yes.
That's all the final thoughts I need, Joe. Hey, Shardies.
Episode 6 next week. Oh, what's the name of this next episode? Is this Damn it.
I don't remember.
We can't end this
It's okay.
We'll
episode.
be
until we
surprised.
know.
We'll be surprised. No?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not going to be surprised. There'll be no
Okay.
surprises here.
This will get cut.
The Shadow in the Night.
We're
Yes.
running with the shadows of the night.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
The
Shadow in the Night.
Yeah.
You know,
What is it?
I just
Who
want
is
to
it?
read a little summary, a little one-liner that I wrote in this when we talked about these episode titles way back in April of 2024, almost a year ago. I had this as episode 6, but I had it as 5. Tom, you and I had this as 5. Jen, you had it as episode 6, so you got
Well
it right.
done,
The
Jen.
Shadow in the Night, and the little synopsis I wrote, or one-line thing, was Rand meets Aludra and burns Trollocs.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's it.
My
That's it,
bird.
no. Hey,
My birds
there-
and Trollocs.
This was
there-
this was a year ago though, so
there are fireworks in Tanchico when they're docking.
that's true.
So,
maybe
there's-
Matt burns Trollocs with fireworks. So it's just-
I 100% think that they're going to get fireworks in this
You
season.
know,
Like
they did-
Matt's going to get them. Yeah.
they did mention that Leandrin could have some family here. So it could be
Eludrin.
that her
maybe.
granddaughter
oh,
is
Aludra.
Eludra?
Aludra.
Oh, man.
Not,
Oh,
it's
Aludrin
not completely.
It's-
Aludra had a
it's-
daughter named Aludra.
Aludra.
Yeah.
I don't know if her son would have the same last name, but they mention it. They literally mention we don't even know if her last name is actually Boreale.
Which I thought
Right.
was funny because what does it matter? like what? Like
Well,
they're not going to go to like the Hall of Records or like look her up
They might.
online or something like that.
Nynaeve's saying like we can find the Guaralis that are in Tanchico and see
Yeah.
that's where she
All
is. Like, but yeah, maybe it's
Not
not.
over yet, guys.
not
Maybe
over.
it's I can't remember what Aludra's name is. I know it's after the
Aludra.
guy.
It's like Mendel.
It's after
It's-
the
yeah, Mendelsohn.
guy who
or
blew up the ship. It's not
Mendelsohn?
Mendelsohn.
Mendenhall.
Aludra Mendelsohn.
Aludra Mendelsohn. No, it's Mendenhall. Or it's with an N though. I think it's like
Whatever, they're
Mendenhall or something like
changing
that.
They're changing.
Thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.